Chapter 1442. Emperor of Heaven, Reverse made a move. He smashed away the cat and smacked the heavenly hound's head. The heavenly hound shook its head and could not come back to its senses. The Emperor God shouted, "Battle, let's kill them." The Emperor God did not want to give up. He did not want this to happen again. However, the Emperor of Heaven Reverse did not agree. He smiled. "Cheung, you know it is impossible." "The Emperor of Heaven will not agree," the Emperor God bellowed. "Idiot! The source is not mature, but if we devour it and absorb the origin warriors of the three realms into the source, at least 80% of it can be repaired. What are we waiting for?" He knew that the Emperor of Heaven and the others were waiting for the source to mature, but it was almost time. What were they waiting for? Wait for variables. Fools. Today, they could absorb the source, kill Fong Ping, and kill the new emperor. The Emperor of Heaven and the others had a chance to escape. If the seed appeared, they could take care of the seed as well and stuff it into the source. Then the problem would be solved. 10,000 years of planning was not in vain. It was fruitful. After 10,000 years, there was a new emperor to replace the old one, and the source was about to mature. If he didn't attack now, then when would he? The Emperor God bellowed. "Emperor of Heaven, what are you trying to do?" The Emperor God's voice was calm. "The three realms are not united yet. Absorbing the source will consume too much energy." "Excuses." The Emperor God snarled. "Excuses. It will consume too much energy, but we can kill more, and it will be solved. I know what you are trying to do. You don't even want to let us go. Yes or no? If we kill Fong Ping today, you will have less hope to kill us, right? You want to seal the source and kill us all in your dreams." The Emperor God yelled. "You are still waiting for more people to become emperors. The more people, the stronger you are. Once the source absorbs the source, you will be able to kill all of us for a short while. Isn't that right?" There were good and bad ones when there were too many emperors in the source. For the Emperor of Heaven, the more emperors in the source, the stronger he was. Of course, the crack to the source was bigger. But that did not matter. The Emperor of Heaven only needed a short while to seal the source and kill all the emperors. By then, even without the seed, the Emperor of Heaven would be able to control the source and solve the problem. As for the chaos that would erupt in the origin land again, that would probably be 10,000 years later. The celestial Thearcha's voice was calm. "From the very beginning, I only wanted to solve the problem. It was you who made it more and more complicated." The Divine Emperor sneered. "Yes, solve the problem. If you kill us, half of the problem will be solved. If you kill yourself, the problem will be temporarily solved. Why don't you kill yourself? In the past, you knew that there was a problem with the source of Tao. Why didn't you stop it from spreading the Tao? Wasn't it because the more origin martial artists there were, the stronger you, the founder, would be? Since we're on the same path, there's no need to pretend to be a white lotus." The Divine Emperor sneered. After all, they were the same kind of people. "Today, I'll kill Fong Ping and the others devour the immortal source and solve most of my problems." The celestial sovereign remained silent. Emperor of Heaven, Reverse said, "Give it up. He will not let us kill now. If we kill now, you and I may be free, but he cannot." That was the key. After swallowing the immortal source and killing Fong Ping and the others, the divine emperors, and the others had hope of escaping. In the end, all the trouble was left to Celestial Emperor. Celestial Emperor would be an idiot to agree to kill when he was not sure he could escape. Only if he could also escape, then Fong Ping and the others would be in danger. Everyone wanted to kill them. Emperor of Heaven Reverse understood, and so did the Divine Emperor. But the Divine Emperor was unwilling. He shouted again, "Reverse, you want to wait too? Kill them today, and we both have hope to escape. With many new emperors, We can escape from the source. Emperor of Heaven, reverse, forced a smile. He looked around and sighed. Who agreed? Hong. The divine emperor shouted, "You want to stop us from escaping with them? Kill them, and you will have hope too." Emperor of Earth said calmly, "What hope? How many new emperors are there? Jun, you can't kill them. Yang God is still waiting. Kun, that's my son. Do you dare to kill him? Zhao, Xu Xiang, and Skydog are 3 new emperors. Qin Fengqing, he is with Ji Hao. Fang Ping and Song Mao did not pierce the source. Is there any Tao fruit? King Wu is borrowing strength. Once the source is swallowed, the Tao fruit will disappear. Emperor of Earth heaved a sigh. There are only 3 that can be killed. Is 3 enough for one of you to escape? Soon, Emperor of Earth grinned. Unless we kill Ji, Shou, Xian, and Ling at the same time. Otherwise, how are we going to free you and me? He did not trust the Divine Emperor. The Divine Emperor was right. Today was indeed an opportunity. The key was that the opportunity belonged to the Divine Emperor and Emperor of Heaven reverse, not them. Xian, beast, and the others were also silent. They were not idiots. There were many new emperors, but they were not enough for 2 powerful warriors to share. They might become prisoners as well. It all depended on the Heaven Emperor's attitude. The source of immortality was connected to the dark abyss where the Heaven Emperor was. Unless the Heaven Emperor did not take the energy from the source of immortality to repair the dark abyss, and instead gave it to them, there was hope for them to escape. But was it possible? The Heaven Emperor was willing to help them. In your dreams, even the Heaven Emperor refused the Divine Emperor's suggestion to kill Fang Ping. He was waiting for the source of immortality to grow again. There must be someone else in the 3 realms who could become emperors again. Definitely, when there were more new emperors, it would be a disaster for them as well as an opportunity for them. Killing 2 new emperors would be enough for them to escape. The Divine Emperor looked around, his face cold. No one agreed. The Heaven Emperor did not agree, the earthly sovereign did not agree, and the human sovereign did not agree. Even Xian and Shou did not agree. They wanted to wait a little longer. Today was not a chance for them to fish in troubled waters. Emperor North wanted to fish in troubled waters, and he almost succeeded. If Moon Spirit was not replaced by Hongyu, he might be able to fulfill his wish. But he failed. After his failure, Emperor North did not say a word. He no longer mentioned anything about escaping. Clearly, he was worried that he would become someone else's bait. He would rather lie low and wait for the 3 realms to be in complete chaos. At this time, Fang Ping suddenly said, "If a monster plan achieves Emperor now, will the source be more stable or repair some cracks?" The Heaven Emperor suddenly added, "If a monster plan achieves Emperor, the biggest dark crack in the source will be healed. A perfected great Tao is helpful to the source. Fang Ping, you can leave this time. However, Skywood becoming Emperor is beneficial to you and me, or rather, it is beneficial to the 3 realms. The smaller the hole in the source, the less energy needed, and the fewer people will die. If you did not kill the Tao tree that day, the source would not be as chaotic as it is now. Monster plants becoming emperor was beneficial to the source. It was actually beneficial to the 3 realms. The smaller the hole in the source, the fewer people would die in the end, and the less energy needed to repair it. Unfortunately, the Tao tree was killed by Fang Ping before it could condense its Tao fruit. Now, Skywood was the only one in the 3 realms who had the highest chance of becoming the monster plant emperor. Fang Ping suddenly calmed down and said, "If you want Skywood to become emperor, the price you have to pay is not small. Today, everyone's Tao will be strengthened, but if it wants to cross the broken path, it won't do without a lot of stellar stones. give me 100 stellar stones, and we will retreat. Let Skywood become emperor. It will be mutually beneficial. You're dreaming, the divine emperor bellowed coldly. Celestial emperor, if you go crazy and continue to support the enemy, even if this source is destroyed today, I will not let you have a good ending. Supporting the enemy, giving Fong Ping stellar stones now. If it was not supporting the enemy, what was? The celestial emperor was really capable, because Fong Ping could not threaten him now. Moreover, Fong Ping was strong and could help him restrain the divine emperor. For him, the disadvantages outweighed the advantages. But the divine emperor did not agree. He would not allow such a thing to happen. Fong Ping did not care and said lightly, "Up to you. After I go back, I will break the path of the three emperors and dismantle the stellar stones. When the time comes, the source will be sealed. Let's see how you can escape from the source." As he said that, he looked at the 4 doors and sneered. These doors can still be used now. Once the immortal source is devoured, I'm afraid the doors will also be broken, right? The divine emperor was cold and silent. At this point, he had already understood that these people could not stay today. The celestial emperor did not agree. The other emperors did not agree. Although he was strong, he was not a match for these people. The divine emperor sneered, nurturing a tiger and waiting to die. Everyone thinks that everything is within their calculations. I see. When the 3 realms become one, who will regret it? Fong Ping, this is an ungrateful wolf. Sooner or later, he will turn against you. You know the danger, but you still want to let the tiger return to the mountain. Fine. I will fulfill your wish. Huang's death is just the beginning. I will wait for the day when you all regret it. Everyone was silent. Did they not know about Fong Ping's threat? They knew, but knowing was one thing. The key was that the interests of all parties could not be balanced. The celestial emperor did not want to fulfill the wishes of others before he could escape. The others were afraid that the divine emperor and Dou did not have enough strength to escape. They would kill them after Fong Ping and the others. No matter how they thought about it, it was not necessarily a bad thing that Fong Ping and the others were alive. The divine emperor suddenly stopped and sneered. His figure slowly disappeared. The next moment, the 36 heavens shook heavily. Heaven and earth stabilized. The divine emperor was also a decisive person. Since they did not agree to kill them, then let them go. But today, he had thoroughly probed some things. Fong Ping, don't think that killing Huang is the end and success. In the end, the human race is still the goal of all the emperors in the 3 realms, including these people who became emperors today. The divine emperor's voice was cold. Hong, Kuan, creation, Zhen, they also want to escape. There is no time to think about it today. In a few days, they will know how painful it is to be trapped in the source. Your enemies will only increase. The more emperors there are, the more enemies you will have. Those who become emperors will eventually go against you. This is not me trying to sow discord. This is the truth. Fong Ping sneered and did not reply. The divine emperor also laughed, his laugh meaningful, becoming an emperor. Today he was an emperor. Tomorrow he would be a prisoner. People's hearts changed easily. The longer it dragged on, the more enemies Fong Ping would have. The powerhouses who protected the human race today might have other ideas tomorrow. Why not destroy the human race? What about destroying the human race to lure out the seeds? This was not something he made up. This was the truth, because they were all people who had experienced it. Of course, it might not happen in a short time, but after a long time, people's hearts would change. The divine emperor fell into silence. At this moment, he did not speak or appear. At this moment, he even wished that the 3 realms' convergence would be delayed. That was good. He wanted to see if the others could not stand the hardship and turn against Fang Ping. The celestial emperor did not mind the divine emperor. He looked at those people and sighed. Nowadays, the number of new emperors is increasing. The source is becoming more and more unstable. I am afraid you will all have to go to the source. Previously, the divine emperor was sharing the burden for others. Now, the divine emperor simply hid in his own territory. He did not care anymore. In this case, after Emperor Shi left, there would be no one to guard the seventh heaven left by Emperor Nan. At this moment, the celestial emperor said again, "Spirit, guard the source. Do, guard the place left by desolation. How? Return to the source and guard the source. Hong, you stay as well. Guard the heaven you were guarding. Previously, when you disappeared, we were suppressing the riots for you. Now that you have shown up, I am afraid you cannot leave." Previously, the earthly emperor also left a part of his force at the source. But there were still some disturbances, and the others helped. Now, who would help him? Now, the divine emperor only cared about his own territory. Without the help of the Emperor Shen Huang, the Emperor of Heaven Reverse had to suppress his own territory and Emperor Nan's territory. The pressure was immense. He might not be able to spare much strength. As for the territory left behind by the Spirit Sovereign, the Celestial Arch was probably suppressing it. With the departure of the Divine Emperor, the matter seemed to have come to an end. In the void, Fang Ping's expression changed for a while. Today, Heavenly King Subduing King, God Creation Envoy, Book Fragrance, Heavenly Dog, Qin Fengqing, and Hong Kuen had all confirmed their Tao. According to the current situation, these 6 people would probably have to stay in the origin land to suppress the unrest. They weren't veteran emperors. Other than the subduing Heavenly King, who had some strength left, the others probably wouldn't be able to leave the source ground. Is it good or bad? Most importantly, staying in the source land was also quite dangerous. The battle seemed to have ended, but in reality, it was just the beginning. Heaven Emperor Reverse was persuading for peace. Heaven Emperor was stopping God Emperor from killing. Human Sovereign and Earthly Sovereign seemed to be helping the human race, but in fact, they were helping themselves. As for Fang Ping himself, he was not strong enough. The current him was at most on the same level as the North Emperor. He was inferior to the current Heavenly King Zhen. The situation seemed clear and bright, but the undercurrent was getting more and more turbulent. Today, Celestial Emperor, Sun God, and Earthly Sovereign had appeared one after another. The invincible powerhouses of the 3 realms had all appeared. At this point, except for the seed that hadn't appeared yet, the others had all appeared. This also meant that the 3 realms would return to one soon. Celestial Emperor didn't answer Fang Ping's question. He didn't say he would give him the stellar stones. If Heavenly Wood could prove his Tao, then so be it. If not, it didn't matter. If he gave Fang Ping the stellar stones, Fang Ping might not necessarily give them to Heavenly Wood. Instead, he would use them for his own cultivation. It was not that Celestial Emperor didn't understand the principle of nurturing a tiger and inviting disaster. Now, other than these methods, Fang Ping actually had no other means to improve. True blood, stellar stones, these were Fang Ping's next means to improve himself. The key was that it was almost impossible for him to get true blood again. As for the stellar stones, there weren't many reserves in the hands of the emperors unless Fang Ping went to look for them himself. He went to those chaotic lands where no one was guarding to look for them. The lands guarded by the other emperors were almost plundered clean. Fang Ping actually had no good means to improve. This was also the reason why Celestial Emperor was willing to wait for a while longer. He asked Spirit Emperor to suppress the celestial origin, to prevent anyone from escaping from the celestial origin. Fang Ping looked around. At this moment, Celestial Emperor reverse appeared in front of him again, smiling. Fong Ping, it's time for you to leave. Fong Ping looked at him, his eyes sparkling. Someone told me that you and the Emperor God are in cahoots. Later, someone told me that you and the Celestial Emperor are in cahoots. Now I see. You really are in cahoots with the Celestial Emperor. Do. The others, I more or less understand them. But you and Dong Huang, I really can't see through you. Now, the purpose of the Celestial Emperor and the Emperor God was very clear, but the purpose of Celestial Emperor Reverse and Dong Huang was not clear. These two were also ancient beginner martial artists. They were also invincible powerhouses, especially Do, who was terrifyingly powerful. But Do had been doing nothing. What was he trying to do? What was his purpose? Dong Huang, too. He was extremely mysterious. Even when the war swept across the three realms, he did not participate much. It was very strange. Just as Fong Ping was thinking about this, Dong Huang's voice suddenly rang out, sounding a little helpless. Everyone, Celestial Emperor, I can return, but the trouble in the land realm still needs to be resolved. The Sea of Misery is going to corrode the core of the land. Dong Huang said again, it's very troublesome. The Sea of Bitterness can't be forced back. We can only let someone suppress the Sea of Bitterness. Who will suppress it? Trouble had appeared once again. The trouble caused by Li Zhu. This ruthless person had destroyed more than half of the outer region. Now that the Imperial Sea Mountain had collapsed, the seawater was rushing into the forbidden area. Now that the seawater could not be controlled, only an expert could oversee the Bitter Sea. Who's going to keep watch? Spirit Sovereign was guarding the immortal origin, but he was already somewhat powerless. There were too many ruthless people in the three realms. These people couldn't escape this time. Seeing that the three realms were about to unite, how could they not take action? After Fong Ping left the Source Land, he might continue to attack the immortal source. Someone else was needed to hold down the fort in Misery Sea. At that moment, the Celestial Emperor's voice echoed throughout the three realms. Shun, since you've escaped, how about suppressing the Sea of Bitterness? West Emperor. There was still an idler in the three realms, Emperor Shi. Sun God could actually do it too, but this fellow was uncontrollable and powerful. Even the Celestial Emperor could not make him do anything. Emperor Shi's voice came from afar. He chuckled and said, there's no time. It's not my home. I've just left the Source Land. You want me to suppress the Sea of Bitterness? What are you thinking? Celestial Emperor. I think that cat is idle. This fellow Fong Ping is difficult to deal with. That cat is your pet. Let it work. Let the cat do it. He was not willing to suppress the Sea of Bitterness. As he spoke, in the next moment, a huge cat's paw suddenly pierced through the sky and earth where West Emperor Palace was. Uffed. The paw tore through West Emperor Palace. In the blink of an eye, a cat appeared angrily, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. It said angrily, if you bully the cat again, I'll call you a liar every day. I'll beat you to death. Emperor, she was a little speechless. With a punch, he blasted the cat's paw out of West Emperor Dojo. Then, heaven and earth trembled. Spatial fluctuations. This fellow had teleported West Emperor Palace away. Forget it. I won't meddle anymore. Do whatever you want. Emperor, she ran away immediately. The cat was no match for him. This was inevitable. However, he was not interested in competing with the cat. He could not kill this cat now. Or rather, he could not kill anyone. If he killed this cat, the source would be even more chaotic. The Celestial Emperor would not let him kill him. The 9 emperors would not agree, and no one would agree to the new emperor. If that was the case, then he would not provoke him. At this moment, Emperor Dong Huang suddenly laughed. Why don't we help Li Zhu become an emperor, the emperor of the Earth Realm? With the Earth Realm as the foundation, let Li Zhu suppress the Sea of Bitterness. I will help him suppress the world where Li Zhu is. He would help Li Zhu suppress the source and let Li Zhu suppress the sea of bitterness. In this way, the problem would be solved. Not only this problem, there was also the problem of the destruction of the Earth realm. Li Zhu would definitely not be satisfied with his failure this time. No one knew if he had other tricks up his sleeves. Now, let Li Zhu become an emperor, with the Earth realm as the foundation, with the wishes of all living beings in the Earth realm helping him become an emperor. If he destroyed the Earth realm, even if he did not die, his Tao would be damaged. When that time came, Li Zhu, who wanted to destroy the Earth realm, would instead focus on suppressing the sea of bitterness. Emperor Donghuang would instead attack Li Zhu, causing Li Zhu to be trapped in a cocoon of his own making. Would Li Zhu agree? If he could become an emperor, why wouldn't he agree? Of course he would. Even if this way, all his previous plans would be for naught. He had wanted to strengthen himself and destroy the plan. Now that he could safely become an emperor, why wouldn't he agree? These emperors were not easy to deal with. At this, the celestial emperor's voice shook the world. Li Zhu, are you willing to replace Hong and become the emperor of the Earth realm? In the 9 heavens, Li Zhu's eyes flashed. It was too difficult for him to become an emperor. Now, he had only broken through the first gate. It would take some time to break through the second gate. Then he would break through the third gate and break through the Tao. Only then could he become an emperor. Obviously, all the emperors were willing to help him. Were they willing? If he agreed, he would borrow the power of the Earth realm and become an emperor with the help of the crowd, just like King Wu. But then he would have to suppress the sea of bitterness to prevent it from devouring the Earth realm. Emperor Donghuang had a good plan. It was impossible to tell whether Emperor Donghuang had good intentions or evil intentions. Although Li Zhu would be trapped, he would not be worse off than he was now. He could become an emperor. After thinking for a while, Li Zhu, who had looked like he wanted to die with everyone, suddenly laughed and said, Li Zhu is willing. I am willing to be the emperor of the Earth realm, willing to serve the celestial emperor, willing to serve all living beings in the 3 realms. No one took it seriously, not even the celestial emperor. At this moment, his voice shook the 3 realms and the Earth realm again. All living beings in the Earth realm, if you want to live, then respect Li Zhu as the emperor of the Earth realm. Otherwise, the sea will flow backward, the Earth realm will be destroyed, and all living beings will die. The people in the catacombs all hated Li Zhu to the core. But life and death were at stake. The sea was still flowing backward. They did not hide the conversation between the experts of the 3 realms. Should they pray for Li Zhu to become an emperor or not? If not, who would suppress the sea of bitterness? Although the emperors would not watch the Earth realm be destroyed, what if they did? Tens of thousands of people wailed. At this moment, even though the remaining people from the outer regions wanted to eat Li Zhu, under the leadership of some experts, some people became the vanguard. The 8 northern regions will respect Lord Li as the emperor. The 6 eastern regions will respect Lord Li as the emperor. The 9 western regions will respect Lord Li as the emperor. The outer regions, under the leadership of the experts, shouted. The outer regions were about to be devoured. No one cared about their lives. They could only save themselves. At this moment, loud shouts also rang out from the Forbidden Zone. The Tianji royal court will respect Lord Li as the emperor. The Moto royal court will respect Lord Li as the emperor. Apart from the Destiny royal court, the other true kings rose into the air and began to defend Li Zhu's name. Even some true monarchs from Destiny royal court were shouting at the top of their lungs. The Ji family had died for the Earth realm, but they also had to survive. The Ji family was a thing of the past. Humanity was exposed at this moment, and Li Zhu's great path reached the heavens. countless figures appeared on the Great Path. The projections of the Earth Realm experts entered the Great Path. Among the people in the catacombs, some were unwilling and some were indignant. But at this moment, they really hoped that Li Zhu could become an emperor and save the catacombs. Li Zhu laughed, a meaningful laugh. Demon? He was a demon, and he was also a god. The destruction of the Earth Realm was imminent, even if it was caused by him. At this moment, the Earth Realm still needed him to suppress the Sea of Bitterness and save its people. Therefore, even if everyone hated him, they still hoped that he could become an emperor. They all agreed that he would become an emperor. This was human nature. Rumble! The second void gate shattered. In the blink of an eye, Li Zhu broke through the gate. The next moment, the third void gate appeared. With a rumble, the third gate was broken. At this moment, a cliff appeared. And at this moment, from the source, pieces of cosmic stones flew out of the gate. These cosmic stones flew out of the source and instantly shattered. Large amounts of energy surged out, opening a path between the cliff and the gate. The celestial arch supported Li Zhu in becoming an emperor. Therefore, he gave him a large number of cosmic stones to help him become an emperor. Otherwise, with Li Zhu's resources, he would not have been able to cross the broken path today. With a smile on his face, Li Zhu stepped toward the source. Please, celestial arch, give me a few more cosmic stones so that my true body can enter the source, travel between the three realms, and suppress the Sea of Bitterness. To enter the source with one's true body, one needed cosmic stones. Previously, it was not for no reason that Heavenly Hound and the others' true bodies entered the source. The God-forging artifact replaced the cosmic stones, and Hong Kuan borrowed the power of the energy stars. There were cosmic stones there. As for Heavenly Hound, this guy did not use cosmic stones. Fong Ping was not too sure how he entered. It could be the celestial Thearcha's doing, or the sun god's doing. As for Qin Fengqin, it must have been given to him by the emperor. Li Zhu wanted more cosmic stones, but the celestial arch did not refute. In the next moment, another 2 cosmic stones flew out. Fong Ping's eyes flickered, but he did not stop them. He could not stop them. Li Zhu becoming an emperor was not necessarily a bad thing. The celestial arch and the others thought that it was a good thing to let Li Zhu suppress the Sea of Bitterness, but Fong Ping did not think that these guys were smarter than Li Zhu. Just wait to be devoured. With a loud rumble, Li Zhu's true body broke through the gate and entered the source. In the first layer of the no man's sky, Dao fruits quickly condensed. Fong Ping and the others could not see clearly. Soon, Li Zhu exited from the no man's sky. At this moment, the land was shining with golden light. In the next moment, Li Zhu exited the source. With a laugh, his true body entered the Sea of Bitterness instantly. With a rumble, the Sea of Bitterness calmed down. The seawater no longer flowed backward and began to calm down slowly. As for Li Zhu, he disappeared from the three realms and entered the depths of the Sea of Bitterness. Li Zhu had proven his Tao and become an emperor. This was probably the most surprising new sovereign realm cultivator they had seen this time. However, all of this seemed to have been destined. Because of his ruthlessness, the three realms had no choice but to find another emperor to suppress the Sea of Bitterness. Li Zhu was the best choice. Chapter 1443. Li Zhu had proven his Tao. The land realm was loyal, and the celestial emperor was helping him. It had to be said that Li Zhu's success this time, surpassing Hong Yu, Feng, and the monster emperor, was not just because of luck, but also because of his ruthlessness. Some people were always like this. When the opportunity came, they could not stop it. Li Zhu disappeared. He went to misery. This time, ninth heaven's momentum was actually weakened. Previously, because of Li Zhu's ruthlessness, although everyone disliked it, they had to admit that it was because of Li Zhu that they had confidence. Now that Li Zhu had run away, many people in ninth heaven lost their confidence. In addition, Hongyu was not here, Moon Spirit was suppressed, and Heavenly Hound went to the source. In this short moment, ninth heaven was silent, and the source was also silent. At this point, many people actually felt that it was time for a temporary truce. There was still some time for everyone to plan. Today's Tao validation was everyone's chance and opportunity. At least it was safe. There was no need to wait for the three realms to be unified. There was no need to wait for other emperors to attack them. After today's battle, there were many people who had proven their Tao. The old emperors would have to think twice before attacking. It seemed like they had won. It seemed like they had won. It seemed like only a few old emperors had lost. But Fang Ping suddenly laughed. Had they won? Had they won? After today's chaos, the three realms had used all their trump cards. Those who had proven their Tao and those who had hidden had appeared. The earthly emperor had returned. Qin Fengqing had appeared. Heavenly King Zhen and the others had all proven their Tao. Li Zhu's trump card had been forced out. He had also become an emperor and surrendered. Emperor Nan was dead. Emperor Shi had left. The mentality seed, energy seed, and life seed had all been destroyed. The celestial emperor had appeared. The sun god had appeared. The human emperor had been exposed. Fang Ping's strength had been exposed. Even Xu Xiang had appeared. The three realms trump cards, ambushes had all appeared. Fang Ping smiled. His smile was cold. Beautifully done. He was praising the emperor god, the celestial emperor, and the chess players. What a beautiful job. It was only Emperor Nan's death. Did it have anything to do with them? Now, all the three realms' strength had been exposed. Actually, they had not suffered any losses. Instead, they had brought all the conspiracies and plots of the three realms to the surface. Had it been intentional or unintentional? Fang Ping sneered. It was probably not unintentional. It was probably done along with the situation. The Emperor God suddenly flipped out, forcing the powerhouses of the three realms to intervene, forcing the powerhouses of the three realms to take action at this time. If Fang Ping and the others were killed, then everything would be for naught. Now, the three realms had no more backup, no more thorns. The thorns had already entered the origin land, although Fang Ping and King Wu had yet to enter the source land. The three realms already knew everything about them. The ambush, all of it had turned into nothing. I already know who you guys are, so how can I let you ambush me? When the three realms became one, he just had to keep an eye on Fang Ping and the rest. And before that, he needed to keep an eye on a lot of people. Even a monarch would not be able to keep an eye on all of them. Now, they could keep an eye on Fang Ping and the others. Fang Ping snorted softly in his heart. The Emperor God and the rest were rather similar to him. Bring all the darkness into the light. They have the strength to suppress all of this as long as you don't play any tricks. If they were to play tricks, they were afraid that they would fail miserably in the end. Now that there were no more tricks, the probability of the boat capsizing was not high. The monarchs were indeed monarchs, Emperor Heaven Reverse, and the Emperor God also cooperated well, one with a red face, the other with a white face. The time was not right yet. Even the Emperor God would not think that now was the time. The immortal source had not matured yet. Could killing Fang Ping and the others solve everything now? No. Now was the period when the three realms powerhouses were improving the fastest. When the three realms became one, there would be a large number of powerhouses born in the three realms. At that time, the immortal source would have enough power to save everything. Not far away, old Zhang opened his mouth, suddenly feeling a little bitter. He looked at Fang Ping. It seemed like there was nothing to be happy about. This time, Shuxiang was exposed, Heavenly King subduing, God crafting envoy. Heavenly Hound were sacrificed. It seemed like there was really nothing to be happy about. Killing Emperor Nan would only help Emperor Shi achieve his goal. Did Fang Ping earn? Did the humans earn? Zhang Tao looked at Hong Kuan and the earthly emperor, feeling sad. Would these two continue to help the humans? No way. Previously, it was just to save their lives. Now that they had become emperors, they might start calculating who to kill to free them. They might start calculating when the immortal source would mature, so that they would have a chance to escape from the source. Needless to say, Li Zhu was a ruthless person. Why would he care about the humans? What about Heavenly Hound? As long as they did not use the ash cat to fill the hole, it might also feel that it was more appropriate to destroy the humans. After destroying the humans, there was no need for the ash cat to fill the hole. God crafting envoy, Heavenly King subduing, it was hard to say. Shuxiang might not compromise. His goal was revenge. Heavenly Emperor Zhan's enemies were all here. Zhang Tao looked at Fang Ping again, suddenly feeling a little lonely. His allies had been pulled away. After that, no one distracted Fang Ping anymore. No one covered for Fang Ping anymore. What should he do? The three realms' eyes were on Fang Ping, on the humans. At this moment, he suddenly felt that he had lost out. It was clearly a big profit, but he really felt that it was a loss. In the distance, Heavenly King Subduing's eyes also flickered, frowning slightly. Previously, everyone was emotional. Maybe they did not think much. Now, looking back, Fang Ping and Zhang Tao were in big trouble. Heavenly King Subduing snorted and growled. The source land still has us. He was not going to leave. He, Shu Xiang, the Heavenly Hound, and the others had to work together to prevent them from being killed by the other sovereigns. Hence, he couldn't split his attention to the three realms anymore. He had to defend against the sovereigns here. He couldn't participate in what happened next. It all depended on Fang Ping and the others. Fang Ping smiled, no longer dejected. He stretched himself lazily, looked at Emperor of Heaven Reverse, and then at the others, and said with a faint smile, "It's nothing. We'll just wait. Three realms being one. It's pretty good. Be careful. I'll come to see you when I'm free. The birthplace is a good place. I'll come again. Next time." The Emperor of Heaven Reverse heaved a sigh. "I am afraid you cannot enter the three gates." In other words, the three gates could not enter the source of origin unless they walked the path of the three emperors. Or he could follow Wang Ruobing's path. However, someone knew where Wang Ruobing's Tao was. Unless Wang Ruobing's source was set up by Emperor Nan, that person must still be there. And this time, he was not exposed. The Qi and Blood Seed was perhaps the most important one. After all, there were too many humans who cultivated Qi and blood, and the target this time was the human race. Soon, a large number of human experts would also appear, and the Qi and Blood Seed would definitely mature. Who would harvest it? Fang Ping was curious too. He asked with a smile, "Since you've said it openly, I'm really curious. Is Wang Ruobing really not part of Qiong's plan?" The Emperor of Heaven Reverse smiled and did not answer. The Emperor God did not make a sound. Was it the Emperor God? Right now, it was impossible to be sure. Even if the other emperors had a guess, no one would admit or deny it at this moment. "You should go." The Emperor of Heaven Reverse was chasing him away. Fang Ping laughed. "What's the hurry? It's not appropriate to kill me now, is it? Can't you wait for a while?" Was it appropriate to kill Fang Ping now? Not. The new emperor was not completely at ease yet. Killing him now would only force these people to join forces against the enemy. It was better to let it go and plan later. Yang God, the emperor, and the earthly emperor's attitudes were unclear now. If nothing went wrong, There would be another big show in the source of origin. Alliances, promises, alliances of interest, division, and roping in all of these things would play out. The new emperors were not all Fang Ping's people. Fang Ping did not care about the others. He broke through the heavens and earths. In the blink of an eye, he arrived at a chaotic place. Here, someone was standing with a saber. Fang Ping blasted the void around him with a punch. The void was chaotic, blocking other people's prying eyes. On the opposite side, Qin Fengqing raised his eyebrows. Fang Ping looked at him, and he looked at Fang Ping. "Congratulations, Emperor Qin." Fang Ping's tone was sarcastic. Emperor Qin hit it well. Qin Fengqing raised his eyebrows again. "Stab me?" "So what if I did?" Fang Ping said coldly. "I'm asking you, why didn't you tell me about the seeds?" "Why should I tell you?" Qin Fengqing said lazily. "Why should I tell you? I'm not your son. Do you think that now that you have some strength, you can compete with me as an equal? Why, do you want to fight me?" Qin Fengqing sneered and then scolded. "Did I provoke you? You were in trouble, and I came to save you. Why, are you biting the hand that feeds you?" "Do I need you to save me?" Fang Ping snorted. "Don't give me that. You can do whatever you want. Do you really think the human race is mine? I don't care if they live or die. You, on the other hand, should care more. If the human race is destroyed, the seeds will suffer. You, the son of the seeds, aren't you afraid that something will happen to your old man? Get lost." Qin Fengqing scolded. "That's your old man." "I want to, but I don't have any connections. Can you introduce me?" Qin Fengqing snorted. "Are you waiting for me here? Want to know where the seeds are? Want to get their hands on them?" Now that Fang Ping had no other means to improve his strength, it was normal for him to get his hands on the seeds. Fang Ping said lightly, "A piece of trash like you can become an emperor with the seeds. I'll go look for the seeds. Tomorrow, I'll be a celestial emperor." Qin Fengqing glanced at him. After a while, he snorted and said, "Do you really think you can deal with the seeds? What a joke. Didn't you hear Sun God say that when he went to look for the seeds, he returned injured? If the seeds were so easy to deal with, they would have been dealt with by others long ago. It's just that it's limited by some things and has to raise a few dogs. This dog of mine is nothing. Celestial Emperor is actually a dog it raised. He was raised too strong and almost backfired on it. After that, it knew its limits and stopped raising dogs that were too strong. I didn't see that the Emperor still has this strength after so many years. You have some self-awareness." Fang Ping stabbed him again. Qin Fengqing did not take it seriously. He sneered. "Of course I have self-awareness. If you say I don't, you probably don't. Are you in a hurry to die? If you want to die, I'll be happy to tell you how to find the seeds and how to die." Fang Ping was too lazy to answer. He said indifferently, "Let me ask you something. Is there a new world inside the seeds?" "Probably." Qin Fengqing said lazily, "The seeds probably regretted making such a world. The powerhouses are too strong and almost backfired on it. Maybe they're rebuilding the world. Back then, they didn't have much intelligence. They created the 3 realms based on their instincts. After that, they probably regretted it and wanted to retract all their powers. Source: do you think it was really an accident? Most likely, the seeds made it to retract the powers of the 3 realms. They trapped Celestial Emperor and the 9 emperors and killed them. What do you think? The seeds are no longer the chaotic creatures that had just gained sentience. Now they're spirits." Fang Ping was shocked. Source: seeds. Origin stars might be made by the seeds. It wanted to retract the powers of the 3 realms, Celestial Emperor, and the other independent beginner martial artists eventually fell into the trap and became prisoners. If the situation developed according to the past, there might be some beginner martial artists who broke through 9 in the 3 realms. There might be a large number of beginner heavenly kings and a large number of beginner martial artists. These people were uncontrollable. After that, the source appeared. Celestial Emperor discovered the opportunity to become stronger. From then on, the entire 3 realms fell into the source. And the source was a shackle, a cage. This was made by the seeds. Fong Ping suddenly felt a little relieved. That was true. Other than the seeds, who else in the 3 realms could make that origin star? There were rumors before that the seeds had appeared in the source, and even left a projection. The true blood was in the source. The seeds must have been here. Retract the powers of the 3 realms. Fong Ping suddenly laughed at himself. The seeds. When it was ignorant, it created beginner martial artists. Later, it realized that the beginner martial artists were uncontrollable. Moreover, there were many people chasing after it, wanting to devour it. It sensed danger. Hence, it created the origin stars. It lured Celestial Emperor into the trap. After that, it got out of hand. The entire 3 realms fell into this trap. The powerhouses became prisoners. The seeds were actually still creating a world, the world of martial arts destruction. It discovered the problem. Hence, it did not want martial arts to be born again. Hence, it created a world, and he might be from that world. Fong Ping took a deep breath. Am I also a dog raised by the seeds? However, judging from the attitudes of these people, it did not seem like it. Fong Ping had previously guessed that it might be a setup by one of the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors. Why was it involved with the seeds? However, the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors did not seem to be able to create something like the system, including that world. So the seeds want to destroy martial arts. Fong Ping frowned. You guys are its dogs. You want the 3 realms to destroy martial arts? Qin Fengqing said, lazily, whether martial arts is destroyed or not. I don't care. The purpose of our existence is very simple, to cause chaos in the 3 realms. Don't stare at the seeds for no reason. Since when have you been so obedient? Fong Ping sneered. You're not such an obedient dog. Nonsense. Who would be so obedient as a dog? Qin Fengqing yawned. Is it the emperor? Not the emperor either. However, you have to be obedient. Do you know what it means to be the son of destiny? The first generation of him was the celestial emperor. At that time, the seeds still had no consciousness, and their control was not strong. The later generations, their control was stronger than you think. The son of destiny. Who is the son of destiny? The seeds. We are all its sons. If you dare to be disobedient, we will beat you to death. I'm afraid of death. If I'm afraid of death, of course, I have to be obedient. Of course, it's fine. As long as it's to stop others from attacking it, we are very free. For example, if you want to deal with Sun God, now, the Emperor, and I will help you, Qin Fengqing grinned. That old fellow Sun God has been staring at the seeds. So, dealing with him is our mission. As for the Celestial Emperor and the 9 emperors, killing one is one less. Actually, it's fine. We can deal with anyone. However, if you deal with the Emperor and me, that won't work. Qin Fengqing laughed. It's still considered relatively free. It's just that there's a father above us. As long as we don't disobey that idiot father, no one will find trouble with us. It's that simple. When did this happen? Fong Ping asked. Qin Fengqing chuckled. How would I know? Probably a long time ago. Maybe before I was born? Who knows when? When I was young, the emperor seemed to have chosen me the dog of the generation after the emperor. But something seems to have gone wrong. According to the Son of Destiny, it's the general trend. Actually, it's not like this. Old Zhang is considered a bright one. It can also be said to be an abandoned one. It's also considered a seed. It's an existence that attracts firepower from all sides. I'm considered a dark one. In fact, I'm the real son of destiny. When old Zhang, the bright one, dies, I will take over everything. The Emperor and I actually have the same goal as you, to protect the human race. Qin Fengqing said lazily, we are also guardians protecting the human race, lest the human race is destroyed and something happens to the seeds. As for you, this fellow, you're a sh*t stirrer. Of course, you're actually on the seed side now. Don't ask me if you're arranged by the seeds. I don't know. I'm just a guardian. I don't know your sh*t. It doesn't seem like it. If the seeds arranged people, there would be some restrictions. You don't seem to have it. That's why I said you're a sh*t stirrer. It's a mess. Who knows whose side you're on? The Emperor said you're a variable. He's right. You're a variable. Qin Fengqing grinned. Right, don't tell me you're made by the Celestial Emperor? A long time ago, you called yourself the Celestial Emperor. Sometimes this person's casual words may be a kind of subconscious. I thought you were the heavenly dog. Now, you might be related to the true Celestial Emperor. The Celestial Emperor wants to get rid of everything and break the seeds' calculations. He can actually understand a little. The only thing that can create the source is actually the seeds. If not, the sun god would not keep chasing after the seeds. Therefore, I really suspect that you're made by the Celestial Emperor. He wants to break the seeds' rule. Celestial Emperor? Fang Ping sneered. Even if he is, it's useless. Do you think I'll be willing to be a dog? A dog will bite when it's anxious. Be careful not to bite them to death. Stop talking nonsense. Where is the seed? Qin Fengqing touched his chin and thought for a while. On Earth. As for where exactly, it's hard to say. You don't know? TSK, I'm not the seed's father. I'm its son, its dog. How can I know everything? Qin Fengqing said impatiently, stop asking useless questions. First, it's in Sun City. Second, it's in Magic City. Third, it's in Capital City. In addition, Old Zhang's hometown, Old Yao's hometown, and Tai Tu's hometown could all be there. These are the only places. No, there's also the place where Polaris City is. These are the places. Take your time to find it. I'm not sure where exactly it is, but it should be in these few places. It can move. Nonsense. If it can't move, how can it create mystic realms? How can it go to the source? How can it escape the sun god's tracking? Qin Fengqing said bluntly, it can definitely move, but it may not be unlimited. There may be some restrictions, or it might not want to move now. You have to know, moving is also tiring. Right? It may not be able to actively attack anyone, but if anyone attacks it or has evil intentions, it may fight back. Qin Fengqing chuckled. This fellow is an existence that split the heavens and earth, the origin of martial arts, the god of creation of the three realms. Perhaps there was only universal love when the world was created. There's a high chance that it can't actively attack, but it can definitely fight back. There's definitely a way to protect itself. Grooming some fighters is probably also within the rules. In short, if you go looking for it and find it, it's best if you obediently be a grandson. If you want to attack it, you're just courting death. Another question, if the three realms were to be destroyed, what will happen to you and the Emperor? Qin Fengqing said lazily, how would I know? Either I go back to be a fighter for the new world, or I'll follow the destruction of martial arts. If I die, who knows what will happen to me? There's a high chance that I'll continue to be a fighter. When a new world is created, someone has to maintain order, right? Isn't it quite suitable for us, the trained dogs, to maintain order? After a few years, perhaps we can also earn the title of God. There's no martial arts in the New World, but it can't stop humans from continuing to become stronger. Either martial arts appear or high-tech weapons of mass destruction appear. Isn't this the time when fighters like us can come in handy? If you don't give birth to a son, I'll help you bring him to the New World and make him an emperor. The debt I owe you before it can be considered settled. As for you, forget it. You're so flamboyant. Everyone's watching you. You're dead meat. Just wait for your death obediently. Probably no one can save you. Fong Ping sneered. That won't be necessary. It's hard to say who will win or lose. If you push me too far, I'll take the initiative to destroy the humans. First, I'll get the seeds out and kill them. Then, I'll settle the score with Celestial Emperor and the rest. Do the seeds really think I'm old Zhang? Wishful thinking. Do you really think that I, Fong Ping, am a saint? What a joke. Whether the humans are destroyed or not, what has it got to do with me? I'm just not convinced that someone is riding on top of me, using me as a chess piece. Do they really think they can take me down? Fong Ping was disdainful. Suddenly, he punched the void and laughed. Celestial Emperor, we'll talk about cooperation when there's a chance. Destroy the humans and kill the seeds, provided that you give me enough benefits. I have no stand. Opposite him, Qin Fengqing was also lazy, as if he was not surprised and had no opinion. Up to you. Do whatever you want. Fong Ping did not wait for Celestial Emperor to speak. He punched the void again and asked, "What's going on with Dong Huang Hedu? What's going on?" Qin Fengqing said impatiently, "There are too many people who have no stand. Dong Huang Hedu can't be like this. If he wants to transcend himself, it's not that simple. Celestial Emperor, Yang God, Qiong, and the seeds will fight to the death. They're not weak either. Can't they take advantage of the situation? However, Dong Huang might have some connection with the seeds. He might not be a dog. He might be a collaborator." Qin Fengqing suddenly laughed. "Don't think that the seeds are stupid. Dong Huang might be a collaborator. The seeds also understood the trick of roping in and dividing. If all the powerhouses of the three realms joined forces, the seeds would definitely be at a disadvantage. Therefore, roping in some people and dividing some people, it was a god of creation. It still had some benefits to give to people. Celestial Emperor could not. Dong Huang tricked Celestial Emperor back then. Otherwise, the immortal source should have been replenished into the source land 10,000 years ago. In the end, there was a big mess. Celestial Emperor had some skills back then. He sold his character very well. The 9 emperors still trusted him. In the end, the immortal source plan suddenly went wrong. Jean suddenly objected. Maybe it was instigated by Dong Huang, who secretly told him something. Otherwise, what could that bookworm Jean know? In the end, after Jean messed around, all right, something big happened. Everyone knew the seriousness of the problem. They all knew that Celestial Emperor might want to trap them to death. That's why there was a big mess later. How did you know? Qin Fengqing chuckled. Nonsense. He's the son of destiny. If he wants to become stronger, he needs someone to teach him, right? Don't tell me he just absorbs energy single-mindedly. There's a Ren Huang over there. He's chatting with me enthusiastically. I have nothing to do anyway. We're both dogs under the seeds. It's normal to talk about these ancient past events. It feels like you're very happy being a dog. What's wrong with being happy? Qin Fengqing pursed his lips. I've become an emperor. Why wouldn't I be happy? Don't tell me you want me to still be a rank 9, waiting for you guys to start a war at any time and sacrificing myself at any time? Fong Ping stared at him. After a while, he said, "Can you break away from the seeds' control?" "Sure. You just have to kill the seeds. Other than this, Qin Fengqing rubbed his chin and thought for a while. He chuckled. Then cripple yourself. It's very easy for the seeds to control people now. All your energy comes from it. It can strip your energy at any time. If you don't want to be a dog, cripple yourself. At that time, it won't care about a cripple. Since you're the son of destiny, why was your talent so bad at that time? Qin Fengqing said disdainfully. Nonsense! It's the rise of trash. Don't tell me I've been gifted since the beginning. How can I still be considered a spy? I was trash from the beginning. Then trash rose. Then I was valued. Then I obtained countless opportunities. Then I became the great hero of the human race. When old Zhang passed away, I took over the human race. It was a matter of course. What do you know? The rise of trash is easier to be recognized. I walked step by step. It's better than reaching the sky in a single bound, right? It's a pity that it was ruined by you, bastard. Otherwise, I would be the overlord of Earth now. Qin Fengqing shook his head regretfully. Fang Ping was too lazy to continue the conversation. He thought for a while and said, "The seeds usually don't care about you guys." "What's wrong?" "Nothing." At the crucial moment, use all your strength to slash someone. It's not too late to cripple yourself after that. On what basis? Fang Ping glanced at him. On the basis that I protected your mother and didn't let her starve to death. On the basis that I borrowed so much money from you previously and you didn't return it. On what basis? Is this enough? If it's not enough, I'm too lazy to kill you now. Otherwise, do you believe that I won't kill you now? On what basis? Fang Ping did not want to reason with him. He said, "Why did you go to Chu mainland previously?" Qin Fengqing snorted and said impatiently, "To look for something." "What thing?" Guess your sister." Before he finished, Fang Ping already knew what he was going to say. He scolded him directly. Qin Fengqing's face darkened. He gritted his teeth and said, "I'm looking for people. People who didn't die. The first batch of people who didn't die, in Chu. These people absorbed the seed's power back then. Most of them died. There are still some who didn't die. At that time, what appeared was not an illusion of the seed. It was a real seed. The seed might need to retrieve that power. Do a head count and decide when to harvest it. Of course, it's best if they died naturally. Otherwise, you guys will pay attention to it." Fang Ping raised his eyebrows and scolded in a low voice. "Motherf **, didn't you say this before? It's a small matter. What's there to talk about? That's why I said you're an idiot. You don't deserve to be the son of destiny." Fang Ping snorted. The seeds needed to be retrieved. That was a big deal. Small my ass. Idiot. The life of a hired thug. Qin Fengqing also snorted coldly. "Do you think I didn't think that there's a problem? But there's really nothing unusual. Many people absorbed the seed's power back then. Even Celestial Emperor, and the others did it. I didn't see anything different. I can't be bothered to talk nonsense with you." Fang Ping was too lazy to care about him. He stretched out his hand and grabbed the void, grabbing old Zhang directly. His voice was loud and clear. "I'll go back first. Godfather, you guys hug each other for warmth. I'll come after these guys deal with you. Find the stellar stones. Don't absorb them yourself. Leave some for me. Also, Qin Fengqing and the Emperor are dogs of the seed. Don't trust them too much. Kill them if you have the chance. Kill them and fill the pit. Release one as one." After saying this, Fang Ping broke through the air and quickly arrived at the door. He blasted the door and disappeared directly from the source. He left decisively. For a moment, Heavenly King Zhen and the others looked at each other, a little dazed. He left just like that. We're trapped just like that. Why did it feel like this Tao validation was a trap? Moreover, it was the kind that was tricked by Fang Ping and the Emperor. Chapter 1444. The Three Realms was at peace. The war stopped. Today, more than 10 emperors participated in the war. Many of them were new emperors, but for some reason, the Three Realms was somewhat empty. The first spurt of energy, the second decline, and the third exhaustion. That was the logic. The moment they walked out of the origin, old Zhang suddenly said, "Emperor Nan is dead, but we seem to have been tricked." The divine emperor took advantage of the situation and found out all of our trump cards, dividing the three realms. Now, the situation in the catacombs is unclear, and on our side, the morale is weak. The divine emperor is too strong. The emperor of heaven reverse is too strong. Everyone didn't see it before, but they dared to fight. Now, do you still feel the same energy as before? Before, everyone did not understand how big the gap was. Now, the divine emperor fought against the 9 emperors at his peak. He was so powerful that it made people feel hopeless. Did the three realms still have the indomitable momentum from before? Fighting a war was about momentum. Even if the strength was weaker, if the momentum was strong enough, not afraid of death, and dared to fight, the enemy would also be worried that you would break one of their teeth. Now, it might be a little weaker. Fang Ping did not care. As long as we are not discouraged, it's okay for others to be discouraged. He did not care too much. As for being tricked, Fang Ping laughed and said indifferently, "That's good. Actually, everything is clear. It's better." To be honest, Hong Kuan, Li Zhu, and the others are also unstable factors. It's best that they have all become emperors. Now, there are not many people in the three realms that we still need to be wary of. Sun God, Li Zhu, Spirit Emperor, West Emperor. It seems that there are only these 4 plus 1 more seed. The others could not come out. They were all staying in the origin. Fang Ping said lazily, "If there's a chance, we can kill Li Zhu or Spirit Emperor. Actually, we can make the source land more chaotic. If that doesn't work, we can kill Heavenly King Zhen and the others now. Actually, we can make the source land more chaotic." Old Zhang was speechless. "You are really something. Betraying your father." At this moment, Fang Ping suddenly thought of something and asked curiously, "Did you forget something?" "Yes, I did." Old Zhang thought for a while and said faintly, "There are still a bunch of guys in 9th heaven. They haven't come down yet. Spirit Emperor seems to have gone to 9th heaven." Fang Ping looked up and sneered. He raised his head and shouted, "Spirit Emperor, please send them down. Thank you. Otherwise, they will get lost if they can't break 9th heaven." Old Zhang smiled and said, "Is this appropriate?" "Of course it's appropriate." Fang Ping had an indifferent look on his face as he said, casually, "In this three realms, we call the shots now. Yangshen, Emperor Shi, Emperor Ling, and Li Zhu. They all have tasks. The old turtle Yangshen has never come out. In fact, I am the boss of the three realms. I'm the real boss now. No one can keep me in check. If Spirit Sovereign dares to cause trouble, I will go and kill her. You go and break the celestial source if she dares to disobey. Now that I think about it, it's actually quite good. These words were unbridled, incomparably ostentatious. In the 9 heavens, someone said coldly, "Don't be too presumptuous." Fang Ping raised his head and laughed. "I'm being presumptuous. What can you do about it? Don't provoke me at this time. I'm not in a good mood. Even if your strength is really close to that of a human emperor, it shouldn't be more than 100 million. I'm really not afraid of you. If you don't believe me, come and try. If I don't kill you, my surname isn't Fang. Don't think that you can be presumptuous with me just because you have a cat. I haven't looked for you for the matter of you wanting to make a move before. Go home and ask the Celestial Emperor if he should provoke me at this time." Fang Ping sneered. Then he threw a punch. "Break the 9 heavens. Rumble." The 9 heavens shook. Fong Ping saw a beautiful figure standing near the huge celestial source. He said playfully, "Don't talk to me like that. If you continue talking nonsense, I will attack the 9 heavens right now. It's just as well. Previously, I was discouraged. Now, I'll do it again. Everyone's spirits are back." Spirit Sovereign looked at him coldly. Fong Ping's gaze became colder. "What are you looking at? For the sake of the cat, I won't argue with you. Previously, I caused trouble a few times and forced old Zhang to reveal his strength. I didn't settle the score with you." Zhang Tao coughed softly. There was no need for Fong Ping to find trouble with Spirit Sovereign now. Was this kid looking for someone to vent his anger on? However, Fong Ping ignored him and said disdainfully, "I don't have time to find someone to vent my anger on. I'm just unhappy with some people. Back then, I heard that someone was so crazy about protecting cats that he wanted to see them even when he was dying. I was even touched. But Motherf ***, I let the cat break through 9 and go up to the 9 heavens. Motherf ***, what was he trying to do?" Fong Ping scolded. "I didn't quite understand before, but now I understand. You broke through 9 and sent it to fill the pit? Send it to your lover to fill the pit? You want to save your lover? What do you mean help her again after breaking 9? Your lover is so strong that even Xiong and Do dare not provoke you. What trouble do you have? There are people guarding the origin. Now that I think about it, wasn't it just to let the stupid cat speed up its cultivation and break through 9 quickly? There was not enough time. If the cat did not cultivate, how could it fill the pit? 10,000 years ago, when cats were raised, all the good stuff was given to the cat to eat. Was it really for the cat to eat? It was just to make the lazy cat stronger. It was a pity that the stupid cat did not understand. It was still happy in its heart. Big Fatty was so good to it. His niece did not give him good food, but he gave it all to it. A stupid cat is a stupid cat. Given to you, you eat and drink to your heart's content. Even if you don't cultivate, you'll still be stronger. You left behind a spirit emperor palace. Even when you die, you still want to scheme against me. Before you left, you gave a lot of origin energy. Luckily, old Zhang absorbed it. Otherwise, wouldn't this cat have broken 9 long ago? How could you not know that the cat became stronger just to fill the pit? Even so, you still let the cat eat more. Isn't that digging a pit for yourself? Fong Ping looked disdainful. Why are you looking at me? Why are you staring at me? Did I say something wrong? The one and only empress. You don't say, she's quite ruthless. I'll send the cat to you later. Feed it more delicious food. Feed it more starstones, or else it won't be strong enough. Whoever doesn't feed it is a coward. Do you want to die? Boom. Just as Spirit Emperor's ruthless words left his mouth, Fong Ping suddenly charged up to 9th heaven. Old Zhang said he wanted to find someone to vent his anger on. Not to mention, he really had this intention. Unfortunately, Spirit Emperor and the cat were entangled. It was not convenient for him to take the initiative to attack. If you scold me, I'll hit you. I'll spare you twice. This time is one. If there's a chance next time, I'll beat you to death. Boom. 9th heaven. Old Wang and the others were stunned. Fong Ping suddenly charged up. It was really beyond their expectations. In the blink of an eye, 2 figures flickered in 9th heaven. The roar was endless. Boom. At this moment, Fong Ping slashed with his Changdao. Spirit Emperor slashed with her sword. Uffed. The long sword pierced through Fong Ping's head, while the Changdao directly chopped off Spirit Emperor's neck. Fong Ping quickly retreated, disappearing into 9th heaven in the blink of an eye. He laughed loudly and said, "Spare her once. Big Cat, your favor is gone. Lindsay, you still have one more favor. I'll spare her life later. The 3rd time, I'll kill her. Ninth heaven. Spirit Emperor's head fell and suddenly exploded. Below, a bloody hole appeared on Fong Ping's head, but it disappeared in a flash and healed quickly. In the bloody hole, a crystal-clear bead was spinning. Spirit Emperor's sword did not pierce through the bead. Brain nucleus. The brain nucleus that formed its own world. Fong Ping was bragging when he said he would spare her life. However, under the circumstances where both of them had dealt a fatal blow, Spirit Emperor had suffered a great loss. Fong Ping's injuries were not light. If they continued to fight, no one would stop them. Spirit Emperor would definitely die. Of course, Fong Ping was probably not having a good time either. About 85 million. What are you being so arrogant for? I thought it was close to 100 million. Fong Ping muttered, a little disdainful. Yes, he was that arrogant. I thought you were powerful. That was all you could do even if you used all your strength. You were probably on par with North Emperor. Of course, you were considered powerful. You were not as powerful as Earthly Emperor and Human Emperor, but slightly more powerful than Beast Emperor, Emperor Shi, and Emperor Nan. Ninth heaven. Spirit Emperor's exploded head recovered. Her expression was cold. She looked down and did not say anything. Below, Fong Ping did not look up. He raised his middle finger and looked at her in disdain. Come and hit me if you don't like it. So what if I bully you? Ask the Celestial Emperor to come out if you can. Other than the Celestial Emperor, would the Divine Emperor and the others care? Care my ass. As long as Fong Ping did not use the immortal source, these people would probably be happy for him to kill Spirit Emperor to avoid more trouble. Land of misery. Li Zhu stepped out of the sea. He looked over there, laughed, and dived into the sea again. West Imperial Palace. Emperor, she shrugged. This guy doesn't care about women at all. How cruel. Celestial Pole could not help but mutter. She's already an old woman who's tens of thousands of years old. How old is Fong Ping? It would be strange if he likes her. Bang. Emperor, she hammered his head, smashing Celestial Pole's head directly onto the chessboard. He scolded, Who are you calling old? Celestial Pole's head was full of chess marks. His face was dark. I'm also a person who's tens of thousands of years old. You old thing, you don't give me any face at all. You hit me just because you want to? If you knew this, you might as well be beaten to death by Fong Ping. Bang! Another punch. Emperor, she scolded, Look at that look in your eyes. I can tell you're full of evil tricks. Can't you be a good person? You even want to sell your own father? Celestial Pole scolded secretly. He did not admit defeat verbally. Don't just be cruel to me. You're unrestrained now. Be careful that Fong Ping will come to you first. You're an unstable factor. If I don't kill you, who else will I kill? If I were you, I would destroy my Tao now and become a powerless weakling. Emperor, she was stunned. After a while, he frowned and said, Don't say it. It's really possible. Spirit and Li Zhu are all pawns. Yang is an old tortoise. He's also very powerful. In this way, I'm the most dangerous and the most unstable. It's good that you know. Let me go now. I'll explain to you. Bang. Emperor, she punched him until he saw stars. Emperor, she snorted coldly. You? Are you worthy? Just stay here. I have many tricks up my sleeves. Why would I be afraid of Fong Ping? It's not worth it for him to cause trouble for me now. When there's time, when the three realms are one, why would I be afraid of him? As he said that, Emperor, she added, But don't provoke him for no reason. He's at the end of his rope now. The three realms are watching him. It's hard for him to take others away when he's about to die. But if he takes me away, no one might care. Those bastards will probably be happy to watch the show. At the end of his rope, Heaven's Fate shook his head and said gloomily, I always thought he was at the end of his rope. but he's been like this since Spirit Emperor Palace. I haven't seen him at the end of his rope until now. Old man, seriously, why don't you invest in him and do him a favor? If he really makes a comeback, he'll have to settle the score. Heaven's Fate sighed. Before Spirit Emperor Palace, he was just a nobody. What about after that? How many people died? Emperor Nan, Dao Tree, Weapon Master, Fist God, Sky Chief, Lushan, King Sun, Fighting Heaven, Sky Plant, Sky Fate, Sky Sovereign, Azura, Staff Saint, Sense Breaker, Ji Yun. Heaven's Fate shook his head frantically. Forget it, he would stop counting. Anyway, the number of heavenly kings killed by Fang Ping could not be counted with 2 hands. His Heaven's Fate's ranking in the 3 realms was also rising. It was not that he was really that powerful, but that Fang Ping had killed too many people before him. Oh, right, Feng Yun is really earthly sovereign. Heaven's Fate said in surprise. Why did he hide at his son's place for so many years? Also, if he didn't create a Feng Yun list, not many people would care about him. Why did he reveal his identity? As soon as this was said, Emperor West frowned. Very quickly, he said hesitantly, protecting his son is one thing, directly intervening in the development of the 3 realms is another. There should be another purpose. Maybe he has a plan in the 3 realms. This old man is not that simple. He said he was not going to fight, but do you think he would give up? This old man is ruthless. Back then, he almost made a comeback. If that guy Jean didn't agree, the history of the 3 realms would be rewritten. As he said that, Emperor West narrowed his eyes. Guard against this guy. Isn't there still a vitality seed that hasn't been exposed? Maybe it's him. Oh, right. Emperor West thought for a while and said, the Feng Yun list is connected to the immortal source. Needless to say, the vitality seed is most likely his. But I think the vitality seed is not the key. What do you mean? Heaven's Fate did not understand. It's what I mean on the surface. The vitality seed is just to fool people. Emperor West grinned. Wait, and see, there's a good show to watch. This guy Hong hasn't revealed all his trump cards. I suspect. What? Emperor West suddenly sealed heaven and earth, laughing. I suspect Fang Ping is related to him. This old man, all these years in the 3 realms, it's impossible that he didn't do anything else. Fang Ping might be his doing. What? He's not the only one. Emperor West grinned. There are some things you don't know, but I know a little. The power of the 3 emperors. This guy has it. The 3 emperors had a good relationship with him back then. Previously, everyone guessed that it might be Dong Huang who did it. Actually, I don't think so. Would Dong Huang do this? He seems to have a good relationship with the 3 emperors, but he's not a fool in actual combat. In the early years, he was a little wary of him. Jean, on the other hand, likes to deal with the unruly Hong. Otherwise, why do you think Jean tried to persuade Hong back then? The heavenly court pointed an arrow at Hong because they didn't believe that the earthly sovereign would actually disagree with him. According to Jean's thinking, Hong would definitely support him. So complicated? Heaven's Fate said in surprise. Why didn't I know that these 2 people have a good relationship? What do you know? Emperor West laughed. Others might not know, but your father found out by accident. Let's put it this way. It's not the 3 emperors. It's actually the 4 emperors. Emperor West grinned. This guy actually has the best relationship with Hong. Later on, the 4 emperors all had some connection with him. 8,000 years ago, Hong tricked Do, but I feel that Do might have fallen into the trap of his own accord. In any case, I've always suspected that Do and Hong had secret dealings and backup plans. Emperor West analyzed and said unhurriedly, among the experts of the 3 realms now, Do, Hong, and Kuan are considered a group. Qiong, Xian, and Beast are considered a group. Beast and Xian, these 2 idiots, can only follow behind Xiong. Celestial Emperor, Ling, and Heavenly Hound are actually a group. Sun Deity and Zhen are considered a group. Hao, Ji, and Qin Fengqing are considered a group. As for Scholar and Creation, they don't have any factions, they're just working together. What about you? Heaven's Fate looked at his father and was a little curious. Who were you working with? Emperor West grinned. I was in Xiong's group with Beast, Desolate, and Xian. Didn't I trick Desolate to death and become a wandering emperor now? Heaven's Fate was speechless. What the old man said made sense. What about Fong Ping? Speaking of which, he should be in the same group as Hong, but this guy is a sh*T stirrer. Don't care which side he's on. He'll turn hostile in the blink of an eye. He won't hold back when he kills. Emperor West chuckled. Anyway, from now on, your father will rely on whichever side is more powerful. Opportunist? Wrong. Opportunist doesn't sound good. Emperor West squinted. This is called adapting to circumstances. Don't you have any plans? Heaven's Fate frowned. Other people have plans. How did you end up like this? How did I end up like this? Emperor West was surprised. How did I end up like this? I've escaped. The only emperor in the 3 realms who escaped. How did I end up like this? Bang. Another punch, making Heaven's Fate dizzy. Emperor West was satisfied. Trouble comes from the mouth. Watch your words. Oh, right. I still have to be wary of Fong Ping. You were right. This guy easily finds trouble with me, easily turns hostile. Heaven's Fate looked at him resentfully. I was right, yet you still hit me? I have an idea. Emperor West's eyes lit up. Suddenly, he looked at Heaven's Fate and said, in order to prevent trouble from happening, I have to make a statement, but I can't do it myself. It'll be easy for others to target me. In order to prove that I really have no intention of participating in all this, I have to show my sincerity. Heaven's Fate suddenly panicked. He stammered, Why are you looking at me? Hostage. Have you heard of it? Emperor West squinted. I have to send someone who's very important to me as a hostage to express my sincerity. This way, I can also explain to the other emperors. My family is unfortunate. My son is disobedient. I can't do anything about it. You want to rumble? Heaven and earth shattered. In the next moment, Heaven's Fate was terrified. You old bastard who sold his son. Why aren't you beaten to death by Fong Ping? F***CK. At this moment, in front of the human world passage, Fong Ping frowned suddenly. In the next moment, Emperor West's voice was heard. This old man is old. I have no intention of participating in anything. Don't trouble me if there's nothing. My son is going to be sent to the humans as a hostage. If I participate, you guys will kill him. I only have this one son. I definitely won't do anything. I've been trapped for tens of thousands of years. I just want to be free for a period of time. Don't look for me. Son, stay in the human world. When the war is over, I'll come and get you. Fong Ping was stunned. Old Zhang was stunned. In the next moment, a figure screamed in horror, cursing wildly. No, you old bastard. I don't want to go to the human world. I want to go back. F***CK. Rumble, a deafening sound. Heaven's Fate crashed into the sea. He wanted to escape. Fong Ping raised his eyebrows slightly and stomped his feet. Heaven's Fate flew out with a bang, his face full of despair. I don't want to. The old bastard actually sold him out. This was too despicable. He really wanted to kill his way back to Western Palace now and kill that old bastard. Without waiting for Fong Ping to speak, Heaven's Fate said hurriedly, Fong Ping, I know where Western Palace is. The old bastard went back to show off. He even left 100 star stones. Let's go and rob him. There was a rumble. The void trembled. Emperor West's voice sounded again. Son, stay in the human world. Don't think about going home. I'll leave first. I've moved Western Palace into the sea. I won't appear until the sea is dried up. Heaven's fate was stunned. He ran away, just like that. Now, he did not know where Western Palace was. He could not go back even if he had a home. That damn old bastard. He actually threw him away as soon as he came back. Fong Ping and old Zhang were also a little dizzy. Emperor West, this guy was too speechless. He sold Heaven's fate just like that. Hostage? Fong Ping was in a daze. Not to mention, he was still thinking that Emperor West was a little unstable. But now, he threw his son out and ran away. Did he really have to look for him? Looking at Heaven's fate, Fong Ping asked suspiciously, Are you really Emperor West's son? Heaven's fate looked desperate. He gritted his teeth and said, I might not be. The old bastard might have been cuckolded. Fong Ping was dumbfounded. Your son, you've turned my worldview upside down. His previously heavy mood suddenly lightened up. Fong Ping patted his shoulder heavily and chuckled. Not bad. You're a good seedling. There's hope for you to break 9 and prove your Tao. Work hard with me. I won't treat you badly. When you're successful and famous, go home and beat your father to death. Let him make up for you. It's just nice. You can take revenge and be free. Heaven's fate was sad and indignant. I don't want to. I just want to go home and hole up until the end of time. The 3 realms collapse and heaven and earth are rebuilt. Old Zhang also shook his head, helplessly. He was not too wary of Heaven's fate. It was too reassuring. Even if he brought him to Earth, he would not be afraid of him causing trouble. This guy was afraid of death. Even if he was Emperor West's eyes and ears, he probably would not do anything stupid. At a critical moment, he might even betray Emperor West and run away. There was no other reason. He felt that it would be harder for Emperor West to die. Heaven's fate might think that if he deceived his father might not die. If he did not deceive his father, he would definitely die. Then he would still deceive his father. Yes, that was the impression. Anyway, that was what Fong Ping and old Zhang thought. At this time, Fong Ping was no longer as overbearing and unruly as when he was dealing with Spirit Emperor. He laughed and roared, Big cat, it's time to go home and eat. Where are you still fooling around? Old Wang, are you guys coming back? If you don't come back, I'm going to seal Earth. After saying that, Fong Ping stepped into the void and stepped into the passageway. Heaven's fate wanted to run, but old Zhang glanced at him. Heaven's fate looked sorrowful. He sighed and felt bitter in his heart. My good days are gone forever. In the next moment, a figure shot over. A cat, holding a huge tail, said excitedly, It's time to eat? How about we eat dragon tails tonight? I just went to pick up a tail. That fool Beast Emperor is still looking for a tail. Heaven's fate was stunned. Really? Why did it feel like none of these guys were normal? This cat had just disappeared for a while. No one knew where it went. Who knew that it would sneak back to the source and bring back Beast Emperor's tail? Fong Ping did not think much of it. He sneered and raised his middle finger. Big cat, even if you picked up Beast Emperor's complete corpse, I won't be curious anymore. Fong Ping curled his lips. Because someone wanted you to become stronger. Otherwise, you would have entered the source quietly and picked up the dragon tail. Hee hee. Someone opened the back door for you. Beast Emperor was probably sulking. He also knew that he could not get the dragon tail back. He had to be careful lest he was killed and fed to the cat. There were many benefits to killing Beast Emperor. Freeing one person and making Big Cat stronger. What a good deal, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. At this time, there were probably people who were regretting that Fong Ping and the others did not kill Beast Emperor. Song Chun could not cultivate, but this cat, it was gluttonous. It could not help but eat. If an emperor stage expert was eaten, he would at least become a lot stronger, right? Fong Ping sneered again. This cat used to say that it picked up a lot of divine weapons. He did not believe it. Now, he really believed it. In the past, no one stopped it from stealing food from 9 emperors. Now, he completely understood. There are no good people in the 3 realms. Fong Ping laughed. There were no good people in the 3 realms. Whoever was good would be unlucky. Then he would be a bad guy through and through. He would beat them all to death later. Song Chun was a little confused. Heaven's Fate glanced at this cat. Was this cat pretending to be stupid? He understood everything. Bang! A tail swept across his face. Heaven's Fate was dizzy. Song Chun seemed to have hit it accidentally. He followed Fong Ping into the human world. This cat was not stupid, but if he could pick up delicious food, of course, he would eat it. Chapter 1445. Earth. Fong Ping had returned once again. Today's Earth was a little quiet. From the shock and excitement of the fall of the Emperor to this moment, the humans on Earth were a little pessimistic. The enemy was too powerful. A group of proven powerhouses could not do anything to the Emperor God, even when they joined forces. The Emperor God was terrifyingly powerful. The Emperor God was only the 3rd-ranked powerhouse. Above them were the Celestial Emperor and the Sun God. Zhang Tao went to appease the people and encourage them. He was afraid that humans would be in despair now. Once they were in despair, there would be many internal incidents. It was obviously a great victory for the Emperor. Zhang Tao did not want to make it a pessimistic defeat. Magic City, MCMAU, Southern Area Cemetery. Fong Ping sat in front of a grave, drinking wine, thinking about something, a little distracted. Beside him, a cat was holding a huge tail, a little expectant, as if waiting to be cooked. After an unknown amount of time, a person came. Old man, Li threw a jar of wine over and laughed. You killed Emperor Nan, a real emperor. Why do I feel like you've lost a battle? Fong Ping laughed, opened the jar, took a sip, and laughed. It's nothing. I'm just here to look at these teachers and students. Teachers and students. The Southern Area Cemetery could no longer bury MCMAU's dead teachers and students. The cemetery had gone through a major expansion. At this moment, there was still an empty space, as if waiting for others to be buried. Fong Ping pointed to the empty space near the sea and laughed. If I die one day, bury me there. Look at the sea, face the sea, and feel the warm spring flowers bloom. Warm spring flowers bloom. Old man Li's eyes reddened instantly. He recovered in the blink of an eye and chuckled. Good people don't live long, but bad people live for 1,000 years. You're only 21. I've calculated. You can live for at least 979 years. Fong Ping laughed. He drank and leaned against the tombstone, dusted it off, leaned against the tombstone, and said lazily, living for a long time is actually tiring. Be careful, kid. Don't crush this old man's tombstone. Old man Li chuckled. He picked up the wine jar and poured some wine for a grave beside him. He chuckled and said, Old Huang, drink more. This is good wine. You've never tasted anything this good in your entire life. You're wasting good wine. Fong Ping scolded jokingly. Old Huang can't drink it anyway. Us living people should drink more. When we get back, we'll boil some to mix with water for him. You little brat, aren't you afraid that Old Yellow will crawl out and cause trouble for you? That's great. Fong Ping laughed. He looked at Huang Jing's grave at the side and laughed again, a little absent-minded. Most of the tombs were empty. How many of them could leave corpses behind? Fong Ping drank the wine, enjoying the sea breeze. After a while, he said, Old Man, actually, from the perspective of the sovereigns, the celestial emperors, and even the land realm, a portion of the human race's experts should be wiped out, right? Fang Ping mocked himself. Maybe in their eyes, we're the selfish ones. He wiped out a portion of the human race, drew out the seeds, and filled up the pit of the source. The three realms were at peace, and everything was fine. In this way, there would be true peace. As for the human race, it was just a small number of people dying. What was there to be surprised about? We, on the other hand, have killed countless people. Perhaps the number of people we have killed is more than the number of people who need to die. We are the main culprits who brought the three realms to destruction. Old Manly chuckled. That's true. The key is we are the human race, so there's no such logic. Your catacombs people are all dead. Your sovereigns are all dead. What does that have to do with me? Brat, are you being stubborn? No. Fang Ping drank the wine and said coolly, do you think I'll be stubborn? I'm just saying that. But in such a situation, to be honest, the human race has once again become the target of public criticism. Those of us who guard the human race are roadblocks in the eyes of others. We are the main culprits who obstruct the three realms' peace. Fang Ping did not care about the other people's attitudes. Instead, he chose to stand with them. The few choices that Dong Huang had given previously were actually very disadvantageous to the human race. Exterminating the human race could bring peace to the three realms. Would the others be tempted? They were not sure before, but now they were sure. Would they be tempted? Definitely. The situation had reached this point. Although Emperor Nan was killed this time, the human race's situation was actually more dangerous. Old Manly laughed. Actually, even without this time, isn't it the same? The human race has always been a thorn in the side of all parties. It's not like they will only change their attitudes after this time. Fang Ping rolled his eyes. That's not the case. Previously, everyone thought about it, but they were not determined to do it. They did not necessarily want to do it wholeheartedly. But now, I think they actually have a choice. That's not something we can stop. Old Man Li was open-minded. He laughed. Brat, don't worry about nothing. Isn't your goal to kill all the old antiques? What are you still hesitating about now? It's not hesitation. Fang Ping said helplessly, it's trouble. Very big trouble. Now, the Celestial Emperor and the others' attitudes are clear. At least the Celestial Emperor and the Emperor are determined to exterminate the human race. I was still hoping that they would fight among themselves first before dealing with the human race. But now, it seems that they might cooperate first before fighting among themselves. Fang Ping exhaled. The Celestial Emperor and the Emperor's attitudes have been made clear this time. The Emperor gave up and suppressed the source. The Celestial Emperor still did not come out. Instead, he let the Spirit Emperor guard the source. At the end of the war, the Celestial Emperor came out to be the peacemaker. The Celestial Emperor took the initiative to stop the war. All of this proves one thing. These two have actually reached an agreement. Old Manly nodded slightly. I can see that both parties' current target is probably this group of new emperors and the human race. They're not stupid. They're all chess players. Their strength is unparalleled. Would they really let you, Brat, take advantage of them? Everyone understands that the third party benefits from the third party. If that's the case, of course, we have to eliminate the threatening party first. But this is not bad at all. At least we know one thing now. The Emperor and Qin Fengqin will probably intervene at the crucial moment. Their goals are different from ours, but their ultimate goal is the same. We can't let the human race perish. Protect the seeds, protect the human race. Both parties' actual actions are still the same. You, Brat, should be happy. Now you've gained two strong allies. The Emperor is not weak. No matter what the emperor was thinking, since he was a powerhouse who protected the seeds, he could not let the human race perish. Fang Ping thought about it. He nodded and smiled. That makes sense. At least before we deal with the seeds, they're still on the same page. The emperor fellow is quite interesting. As he said that, Wang Jinyang walked over. He did not stand on ceremony. With a wave of his hand, he got a jar of wine from Old Man Li. After taking a sip, he said, "Actually, I've gained something from this. At least I know something." What? It's not that easy for the emperors to truly break free from the source. Wang Jinyang's eyes shone brightly. Emperor, she killed Emperor Nan and let Emperor Nan mend his path. He left and was freed. But from what I heard, even if he left and the source of his power was destroyed, he still wanted to be destroyed. If they can be freed by killing the emperors, then why did that person look for us to cooperate with? Old Wang's eyes flickered. This can only prove one thing. If they want to completely break free from the source, they might need our help. In other words, they might leave by taking our path so that they can completely break free, not humans, but fruits. In other words, fruits can't actually leave the source, but through the path that the three of us opened up, this is considered a loophole in the source, and they can leave through it. That's why someone looked for us to cooperate, Old Wang said in high spirits. If that's the case, then the person who looked for us to cooperate might not be a few weak emperors. He might even be a divine emperor. Is he willing to be suppressed by the heavenly emperor? Doesn't he want to be freed? But his fruits are in the source. Therefore, even if he is unwilling, he has to help suppress the source. He will live or die with the heavenly emperor. Previously, I thought it was a few weak emperors who came to us to get rid of the source. Now, it seems that it is most likely a few top powerhouses. Divine Emperor, Emperor of Heaven Reverse, Emperor East. These are all possible. Fang Ping's heart skipped a beat when he heard this. He nodded slightly. What you said makes sense. Otherwise, I think Emperor Shi would have just left. I don't see him insisting on taking the path that you opened up. If that's the case, fruits may really not be able to leave through the door. Wang Jinyang laughed. So, it's not that there is no chance to divide them. Don't despair. If the divine emperor fruits can leave, do you think he will continue to cooperate with the heavenly emperor? Wang Jinyang laughed. Of course not. They are all domineering. Just look at the sun god and the heavenly emperor. The sun god can't be bothered to deal with the heavenly emperor. He has the attitude of watching a show and let them do whatever they want. The sun god's goal is the seed. The heavenly emperor's goal is the seed and the 9 emperors and 1 emperor. The divine emperor's goal is more. Getting rid of the heavenly emperor's control is actually his first goal. Otherwise, even if he gets the seed, he may still be controlled by the heavenly emperor. And this gives us a chance to divide them. Old Wang, are you here to give me some reassurance? Fang Ping teased. Old Wang laughed. I'm afraid that you will mess around in desperation. Things are not as bad as you think. Besides, do you think this batch of new emperors can really integrate with those old emperors? Are you kidding me? The divine emperor can fight against 9 emperors. What about the heavenly emperor? They have become emperors. Do they still want to be controlled and be someone's lackey? Definitely not. So, I think that even if they really agree with the old emperor's ideas in the end, they will not be united. They might even want to kill a few old emperors to reduce their competitiveness. Fang Ping looked at the two of them and could not help but laugh. You guys think too much. Actually, I'm not really desperate. I'm just a little helpless. Fang Ping frowned. There are actually not many ways for me to improve my strength now. Or rather, my biggest hope is to expand the source world. Something like true blood is rare. I don't even have any hope. But expanding the size of the source world is too difficult. The first thing to expand the source world is the star stones. The difficulty is still too high. The second is to find the seed and obtain a lot of power. Forcefully expanding it is even more difficult. The third point is the simplest: integrate the cities. But now I've integrated everything that can be integrated. As for the rest, Old Wong interrupted. What's the difficulty of integrating the cities now? Logically speaking, you are the savior of humanity now. There is no reason not to agree with you. Look at Li Zhu. Under those circumstances, even the catacombs can agree with him. Why can't you? Did something go wrong? He felt that the current Earth should have agreed with Fang Ping. Then why could Fang Ping not integrate all the cities? Until now, the number of cities that Fang Ping integrated was actually only a small part of the Earth. It was even to the extent of only 1%. Old man Li was also puzzled. Fang Ping thought for a while and said, there are more reasons. First, old Zhang might have diverted some of my attention. After all, this fellow is the leader in name. In some places, old Zhang has a higher degree of approval. Second, not everyone agrees with some of my ideas. Some people still think that we can talk. Third, Fang Ping shrugged. To put it bluntly, maybe we've protected people too well. The martial artists have a higher degree of approval. As for ordinary people, honestly, no one has experienced war or death. Do you think they will agree with me? As soon as he said that, Old Wong and Old Manly frowned. Old Wong sighed. That's true, but you can't learn from Li Zhu just to make everyone agree with you, right? What did Li Zhu do? He created a world-destroying crisis for the catacombs. Everyone in the catacombs was facing the danger of death. At this time, they had no choice but to agree with Li Zhu and hope that he could save them. However, Earth could not do that. Otherwise, some of everyone's previous ideas would become a joke. Old man Li was also in a difficult position. He sighed and said, if we use unscrupulous means, such as letting some powerhouses enter Earth to fight, destroying some cities, and killing tens of millions of people, then everyone will definitely feel a sense of crisis. But this, we can't do it. If we do it, it will be difficult for us to overcome this hurdle ourselves. I didn't expect that one day we would feel helpless because we've protected ordinary people too well. Fang Ping shrugged. This was the logic. After thinking for a while, Fang Ping said again, let's continue with the publicity. This time is actually an opportunity. Everyone knows how powerful the emperor is. Tell everyone that in a few months, when the world wall is broken, the human race will be wiped out. This is more or less useful. As for me, Fang Ping chuckled. He grinned and said, actually, it's not that there's no chance. Later, I'll find someone to fight and pretend that I'm injured and dying. As for old Zhang, I'll just pretend that he's seriously injured and about to die. We're all doomed. You guys can shake Earth a few more times and create some sense of crisis. Actually, it's still effective. When people are about to die, they all long for a hero to appear. Am I not? If they don't count on me, do they really count on the emperor to give them a way out and let them go? When that time comes, the opportunity will come. If I integrate a large number of cities, I should be able to advance once. Another thing is to find the seeds. I think there's still hope to find them. If I find them, I'll also become more powerful. As he said that, Fang Ping looked at the two of them, frowning. Can you still advance further? Old Wang nodded and said, I can quickly walk out of the source land. We don't need to condense Dao fruits. If the opportunity is right, we can break the source land and strengthen ourselves again. Although I might not be as powerful as Zhan and the others, it's still not a big problem to be compared to the ordinary emperor. On the other hand, Old Manly said, I also need a large supply of energy on my side. not just energy. Old man Lee hesitated for a moment before saying, I think I might also have a bottleneck. Next, I might also need to use stellar stones and true blood to replace true blood and absorb stellar stones. Only then can I continue to advance. Otherwise, if I simply rely on these powers now, including the vitality of the seeds, I might not be able to make a big advancement anymore. True blood, stellar stones. Fong Ping was troubled. Everyone needed these things. The point was, there was none. Most of the stellar stones were in the source land. The true blood should be with the seeds. At this time, Old Wang raised his eyebrows and said, if it really doesn't work, use the stellar stones in the second half of the extreme Tao. Forget about mine. Ironhead, that simpleton, he can't fight. Break his path and increase your strength. Fong Ping looked at him, strangely, then looked at Ironhead, who had just stepped into the cemetery area and was stiff all over. He felt some sympathy. It was not me who said it. Old Wang said it. Old Wang had obviously noticed Ironhead long ago and said it on purpose for him to hear. On the other side, Ironhead looked aggrieved. He could not help but say, Old Wang, why didn't I break your path? Nonsense. Lao Wang said snappily, I'm stronger than you, but that's fine. I can even affect Shuxiang. If something happens to me, Shuxiang might vent her anger on the human race. Wouldn't that mean that we have lost an emperor? There's no one behind you. If an accident really happens and you die, so be it. Ironhead said gloomily, then why don't you look for old Yao? Lao Wang tried his best to persuade him. Old Yao walks the path of spiritual power, and I feel that it will be very useful. You walk the path of the physical body. To put it bluntly, we do not lack experts who walk the path of the physical body, and their bodies are not weak. Your physique is not strong now. If you die, the loss will be smaller than if old Yao dies. Ironhead was about to cry. Is it that realistic? Yes. Then if I break my path, can I really get the stellar stones? I don't know. You guys are too ruthless to gamble with me when you don't have any confidence. Ironhead was gloomy. He said quickly, do you want to try? Fong Ping laughed. All right, break your path. There are only 3 emperors in the extreme Tao. I think the 3 paths might affect each other. Don't break your path recklessly. Breaking one path might affect the other 2 paths. I'll think of something about the stellar stones. I'll ask Heavenly King, subduing to look for them in the source land. As for you, Ironhead, I think the potential of your physique is not developed enough. I'll get some energy for you to absorb later. As he said that, he raised his eyebrows and said, I got it. Big cat, eat less of this tail later and let Ironhead eat more. I think it should still be helpful to Ironhead. Beast emperors also have strong physiques. Ironhead, eat more when the time comes. Li Hansong looked at the long tail and gestured. It was at least 100 times longer than him. He was a little speechless. How much would he have to eat? Beside him, the cat also glanced at Ironhead with some disdain. If I let you eat, how much can you eat? Eat as much as you want. Even if I hold back when I eat, I can still eat 100 of you. Ironhead felt disdain. He felt a little sullen. He always felt that he was so miserable. Old Wang and the rest attacked him. Now, even the cat looked down on him. At this time, Old Zhang also came. Old Zhang glanced at the cemetery and did not look any more. He said quickly, I've already started making arrangements for the places you mentioned. Evacuate the residents, count the number of martial artists over the years, analyze and compare, and the results will be out soon. Looking at it now, there's actually not much difference. The main thing is still the ratio of martial artists in the previous period. If the seed is really in these places when the earth has no energy, it's actually the best to see which place has the most martial artists. Especially the data from 3 years ago It's the most representative. I think the seed might have been here in Sun City, but he might not be here. Actually, there aren't many martial artists in Sun City. Because there's a Yang, we might have paid too much attention to it. Fong Ping curled his lips. I know. Actually, I think the seed might not be here in Sun City. There might be an old thing there. Didn't you hear him say that he fought with the seed and then found a place to recuperate? I think the place where he recuperates might be there. As he said that, Fong Ping's eyes flickered. Actually, I should go look for him again. When I find him, I want to ask him some questions. He wanted to ask if there were any changes in Sun City 3 years ago, some unusual changes. How did he get out of that small world? The sun god might know some things. The reason why he was so persistent in exploring these things was actually for the seed and the power of the seed. As for how he got out, Fong Ping now felt that it might have something to do with the sun god. Is he really on Earth? Old Zhang frowned. It was too unsettling to have such a dangerous person on Earth. He should be. Fong Ping nodded. He glanced at the powerhouses who were gradually rushing over and smiled. Everyone, Earth will depend on us. Those seniors in the source can only play a role in restraining them at most. The counterattack still depends on us. I think everyone should be very enlightened about what happened today, including the tremors in the source. Everyone should have gained a lot too. Work hard to digest all the results. Even if you can't become an emperor before the final battle, you must be able to resist the other powerhouses in the 3 realms. Old Manly could not help but laugh. Earth will depend on us. Why does it sound like we're all Ultraman? Fong Ping burst out laughing. Then let's fight the small monsters. There are too many of them. Everyone work hard. Don't worry about me. Why do I feel like I've become everyone's burden now? Go do what you have to do. I'll go look for that old thing. If I can pull him over to my side. There will be someone to deal with the Celestial Emperor. The pressure will be greatly reduced. As he said that, old Zhang continued, You're going alone? I think it's better to bring someone. I won't go. You bring Li Jun. King Zhen's descendant is also related to this old thing. It will more or less ease the tension, lest you start fighting with this old thing before you start fighting with the Celestial Emperor and the others. Nonsense. Fong Ping did not admit it. How could he be like this? He was not stupid. It was obvious that he could not win against that old thing. Why would he fall out with him? Old Zhang smiled without saying a word. Could he have some idea in his heart? Why did he have no idea at all? Not continuing this topic, old Zhang continued. I'll inform you when there are results everywhere. Also, I'll continue to help you publicize. Can you, kid, stop saying those random things every time and make others think that you're unreliable? How can they believe that you can lead the good people? I'm used to it. Old Zhang shook his head, too lazy to talk to him anymore. Just as he was about to leave, Fong Ping said telepathically, Keep an eye on Wang Ruobing recently. Now that 3 of the 4 seeds have been destroyed, her side is the only way we can enter the source quietly. I'll see if there's a chance to sneak into the source secretly. You still want to go? Old Zhang had a toothache. You went once and caused a huge commotion, and you still want to go? Fong Ping laughed and did not continue the conversation. Of course, he had to go. There was still a powerhouse behind Wang Ruobing. There was still a chance to talk. The key was that if he did not solve this problem, this seed had gathered a large amount of vitality path. There were many human powerhouses. He could not watch this seed be absorbed by others. There was also starstones. These seeds were all made of starstones. Emperor West's seed had a total of 12 starstones. What about Wang Ruobing's? As long as he found a way to destroy the seed, he might get more than 10 starstones. This was a huge amount. After calculating everything, Fong Ping perked up again. Actually, it was quite good now. Everything was clear. He could focus on dealing with it. He should go to Sun City. If he could find Sun God this time and rope him in, it would be more effective than the birth of 10 emperors. There was also Chu Wu. He had to go there again later. The seeds were recovering Chu Wu's power. He might have to pay attention to this news. Fong Ping left quickly, leaving behind a cat with a blank and hopeless expression. I haven't eaten my tail yet. Was he leaving again? His diet was really irregular recently. Chapter 1446. Sun City. Fong Ping had returned to Sun City many times this year in search of its secrets. Now, he had confirmed that the seed had come to Sun City before. Of course, it might not be here now. As for Sun God, it should have come to Sun City before. It might even be here now. In the sky above Sun City, Fong Ping stood in the air, but no one could see him. Fong Ping swept his gaze below. This time, he did not scan. Whether it was the seed or Sun God, they could block his scan. Fong Ping was only talking. The people of Sun City could not hear him. Only martial artists with strong mentality could hear him. Strong mentality was at least close to the level of qualitative change. Senior, are you really not willing to meet me? Senior, you've been hiding like a mouse for so many years. Don't you feel lonely? If you want to find the seed or seize the seed, you can still talk to me. Senior, you're currently the most free powerhouse in the 3 realms, but you've been hiding all this time. Is there something you can't tell me? Look, I've brought your grandson's grandson here. Won't you meet him? Beside him, Li Jun could only see Fong Ping's lips moving, but he could not hear his voice. At this moment, he looked at Fong Ping doubtfully. Fong Ping was pointing at him. Is Heavenly King Garrison your illegitimate son? I think it might be. Why don't you discuss with me how to get him out of trouble? The source is not a place to stay for long. Heavenly King Garrison has been guarding the human world for 8,000 years because of your instructions. Are you so heartless? Silence. Li Jun saw that Fong Ping was only moving his mouth, but not speaking. He guessed that he was transmitting his voice. After waiting for a while, seeing that no one appeared, he frowned slightly. Is he not here? Did we guess wrong? Sun God did not appear. Li Jun felt that he might have guessed wrong. Fong Ping smiled and said, There's no rush. He's old and smart, and he's tolerant. He's afraid that we'll cause trouble for him. It's normal for him to ignore us. But let's continue to try. Fong Ping continued to transmit his voice. Senior, I just want to ask one question. What happened 3 years ago? Why did I come out of that world? 3 years ago, was the seed here too? Also, why did you choose me? That world, billions of people. Am I really so outstanding that you all knew I had a bright future? Still silence. Don't tell me Senior doesn't know either. Senior, do you know that there is actually a Yang God in that world? Or rather, there are actually 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors, but they are completely different from this world. I have met the Yang God in that world once and chatted with him for a while. Beside him, the cat looked at him strangely with its big tail on its back. My guess is that that world might be the world where the seed imitated the martial destruction era. However, the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors did not die. Unfortunately, they did not die, and the Yang spirit did not die either. However, they became the lowest existences. In that world, there is also a heavenly court. There is a Yang God in the heavenly court. He lost his parents when he was a child and was despised by his relatives. He lived in the latrine since he was a child and lived with feces and urine. He grew up eating those things. The cat was getting weirder and weirder. Was it useful for a liar to provoke him? Fong Ping talked for a while. Seeing that there was still silence, he laughed and said helplessly, "Since Senior is not willing to see me, then forget it. Actually, I really wanted to talk to Senior, such as the nemesis of the seed, the great enemy, the creation jade disc." Fong Ping sighed. In that world, there is actually a legend. Legend has it that the person who obtains the creation jade disc can restrain the seed, which is the god of creation. Of course, at that time, I did not know what the seed was. I feel that the ancient legend of that world may not be fake. The creation jade disc may really exist. F***ck your grandpa. Do you really think I am closed off? At this moment, someone suddenly scolded. Fong Ping's head was numb from the shock. The young spirit could not hold it in anymore. Do you really think I am an idiot? You want to fool me with something that can fool a 3-year-old? Initially, he did not want to talk to Fong Ping. However, Fong Ping seemed to be talking to him until the end of time. He could not stand it anymore. There was a fly flying around his ear all the time. It was very annoying. If it was a normal conversation, then so be it. However, this guy's mentality shook all the void nearby. You could not even block it. Fong Ping laughed. He laughed heartily. At this moment, he cast his gaze toward a void and laughed. Senior, it seems like you still want to see me. Otherwise, even if I talk for 10,000 years, you can continue to turn a deaf ear to me. I have come so many times before, but you have not seen me. This time, do you think that I am qualified to participate in this? Noisy. A soft snort was heard. In the next moment, the sky and earth were turned upside down. Birds sang and flowers fragrant. Verdant hills and clear waters. The sun was shining brightly. The sound of waves crashing could be heard. A gentle breeze brushed past. The blue sky and white clouds. The air seemed to have a delicate smell. On the beach, a beach chair was spread out horizontally. An old man, wearing big pants, leaned on the beach chair, holding a whole coconut and sucking it. On Fong Ping's side, Li Jun was stunned. This was Yang Spirit. Why did it feel so low? However, Fong Ping did not care. For powerhouses, naturally, they would do whatever was comfortable and refreshing. Fong Ping grinned. Is there something missing? Having said that, his vitality surged. In the next moment, a large number of beautiful women appeared in the sea. They began to play splash water, swim, and play. Vulgar. A sneer sounded. With a rumble, the sea surface calmed, and all the beautiful women disappeared. Vulgar, low end. Fong Ping laughed. Very quickly, his vitality surged again. In the next moment, a group of people appeared in the sea, and they were women. The heroic and exuberant spirit emperor, the frost-faced moon spirit, the charming and moving heavenly hound. Boom! The heavens and earth shook. At first, the old man was enjoying watching. When he saw a dog scratching its head coquettishly at him, he suddenly spat out a mouthful of coconut juice, directly blasting the sea. The old man turned his head and glared at Fong Ping behind him. With a smile, Fong Ping looked at Yang Spirit too. After a while, he suddenly laughed. It's been a long time, Uncle Yang. The old man raised his eyebrows. Li Jun looked at Fong Ping in surprise. He could not help but ask, You know him? Fong Ping laughed. I've seen him before. He's quite familiar. Isn't he the gatekeeper? Gatekeeper? Li Jun was stunned again. What kind of joke was this? Fong Ping smiled. The gatekeeper of Sun City, number 1 high school. He watches me and old Wang go to school, practice martial arts, learn Taoism. The gatekeeper of Sun City number 1 high school? Li Jun frowned slightly and said quickly, Has Senior Yang Spirit been monitoring the 3 realms? Wrong. The old man chuckled. I don't monitor the 3 realms. I don't have the time. I just monitor Sun City. Why? Li Jun did not understand. Fang Ping, however, understood. He laughed, because 3 years ago, Senior Yang Spirit was not sure who it was that became this variable. Did you find out after that? Yang Spirit chuckled. You're a little clever. Indeed, I was not sure at that time. But not long after, I locked onto you and Wang Jinyang. Of course, there were some other people in the early stages, such as the martial arts university students from your school. There aren't many people in Sun City. But in modern society, people move too frequently. It was hard to lock onto them at first, but it became much easier later. Since Senior knows of my existence, why didn't you show yourself? Why should I show myself? Yang Spirit chuckled. It's good that you know. Why show yourself? It's enough to confirm your identity. It's like when you see a nest of ants, and you know that one of them is a little special. When you discover it, will you stand out and tell that ant that I've discovered you, that you're very special, and will become a big ant in the future? Fang Ping laughed. Am I just an ant? Am I not? Yang Spirit snorted and said indifferently, do you think you're very powerful? Do you think you can match me? Didn't Cheong say about the 3 realms? There are 4 chess players, but Cheong was just boasting. Everyone's strength is different, so they see things differently. He thinks there are 4 chess players. I think there are only 3. My God, Seed. Yang Spirit yawned. As for Cheong and the battle, we're just playing with the leftovers. We're just letting them play with us. Senior, your words are really asking for a beating. You're asking for a beating, but hit me. Yang Spirit sneered. He was so arrogant, even more arrogant than Fang Ping. Why don't you hit me instead? Fang Ping did not mind. If he was not as strong as others, then he would be a grandson. Many people were arrogant in the beginning, but they stopped being arrogant later on, because they were beaten until they did not dare to be arrogant anymore. Yang Spirit obviously lacked the cruel beatings of society. Fang Ping laughed. Senior, Dong Huang's combat strength should have exceeded 100 million. What about Emperor God and Emperor Reverse? Are you here to inquire about information? I'm just asking. Yang Spirit leaned back in his chair and continued to drink his coconut milk. He closed his eyes and enjoyed the sea breeze. He said casually, there are a total of 7 martial artists in the 3 realms whose combat strength has exceeded 100 million. Me, Heaven, Cheong, Do, Hao, Hong, and Ji. Fang Ping's pupils shrank. Earthly Sovereign and Emperor have exceeded 100 million? That's normal. Yang Spirit's voice was lazy. One is the representative of the seed. The other is a drama queen. What's wrong with exceeding 100 million? Drama queen. Fang Ping was stunned. Drama queen? You mean earthly sovereign? He could understand that Emperor was the representative of the seed. What did drama queen mean? Yang Spirit said disdainfully, do you think you're the only one who can act? Who in the 3 realms isn't a master of acting? Wasn't the bitter drama that was staged at the birthplace good? Wasn't it because the father was kind and the son was filial? Yang Spirit sneered. I'm kidding. Hong faked his death to escape and quickly went to the divine sect. Not long after, Hong Yu left the divine sect to establish the earthly emperor god dynasty. Do you really think Hong Yu doesn't know anything? Are you kidding me? Do you really think that establishing the earthly emperor god dynasty is useless? Yang Spirit yawned. Hong Yu is about to unify the 3 realms. How can it be useless? However, he deliberately made the divine sect an enemy just to avoid being too conspicuous and being suspected by others. Just like Li Zhu, the devil is also him, and the Buddha is also him. The earthly emperor god dynasty is the orthodox and belongs to the Hong family. The divine sect is the demonic path and also belongs to the Hong family. Whichever family is strong is his own. The meat is rotting in the pot. Hong is much more calculative than you guys. However, a group of fools still wanted to lure him out. Did he even need to show up? In the end, it seemed that it was about time. What should be taken was taken. All right, I'm not playing anymore. The divine sect destroyed the divine dynasty. The divine dynasty collapsed, and the divine sect went dormant. Hong and his family retreated behind the scenes, and no one paid attention to them. You guys can play as you wish. I'll continue to cultivate and strengthen myself. Yang Spirit spoke as if he was watching a show, but Fong Ping's gaze kept changing. Did Hong Kuan and Hong Yu already know that the earthly emperor was Taoist Fengyan? The whole family was putting on a show? Yang Spirit said that the earthly emperor was a drama queen. If that was the case, then the earthly emperor was not wronged. What's the benefit of that? Stupid, Yang Spirit said, lazily. Of course there are many benefits. The human emperor Dao can't have the earthly emperor Dao. Zhang Tao can cultivate the human emperor Dao, but he, the real earthly emperor, can't cultivate the earthly emperor Dao. Zhang Tao can become stronger quickly, but he can't. Is he stupider than Zhang Tao? Of course, he's more ruthless than Zhang Tao. He threw it away after using it to avoid being found out. He strengthened the earthly emperor Dao and quickly compressed it into his own Dao. He just borrowed the power of the Dao, but you guys didn't realize it. Then he let Hong Yu die for a few thousand years to divert attention. Who knew that he would become stronger in secret? How did you know, Senior? Yang Spirit was too lazy to talk. He drank the coconut milk and said lazily after a while, "Why wouldn't I know? He wanted to meddle in the human world and cause trouble for that guy Zhen. I taught him a lesson and naturally found out. Did he really think that he found his conscience and dared not come to the human world because he was afraid of Zhen? He was afraid of me. Therefore, the divine sect and the earthly emperor divine dynasty didn't develop much in the human world. Zhen thought that it was because of him that he suppressed Kuan and Yu, but he didn't think about it. Why should he be afraid of him when he has his father's support?" Fong Ping raised his eyebrows, but didn't continue to talk about this. He said, "If it breaks through 100 million, how strong will it be? We'll talk about it when it breaks through 100 million. I think it'll happen very soon." Yang Spirit opened his eyes, turned his head, and glanced at him. He laughed and said, "You're quite confident, just relying on your half-baked second origin." Yang Spirit said disdainfully, "Let's put it this way. Your half-baked second origin is still the origin, and it's rooted in the origin. Do you really think it has nothing to do with the origin? You borrowed the power of the origin. How can it have nothing to do with it?" Yang Spirit yawned and said, "Just like this fat cat, can it be considered the second or third origin? It can be considered, but in reality, it's still related to the origin. If heaven wants to kill it, it won't be too much trouble." Fong Ping frowned slightly. "Our source world is separated from the origin. Separated. Even the origin universe was cut off." Yang Spirit said disapprovingly, "Since it's not separated, then it doesn't count. If the second origin wants to be separated from the first origin, it has to be separated from the entire origin universe. Only then will it count." Fong Ping's eyes flickered. He suddenly said, "Senior, what you mean is that our source world is still connected to the origin universe, so it doesn't count as separated from the origin?" "Of course. They can enter our source world at any time." "Of course." Yang Spirit chuckled. "Just look at this cat. Does it really think that its source world is very secretive? How is that possible? It's not like no one has entered in the past. What does it know?" The cat meowed innocently. "Why do you always talk about me?" Fong Ping's heart moved slightly. His and the cat's were actually somewhat different. Not to mention the black mire. there was actually something different. The brain nucleus. Yes, there was only one person in the three realms who had melted the brain nucleus and enveloped the source world. Celestial Emperor Jean. However, Celestial Emperor Jean still left behind a Taoist hole and did not completely separate from the source world. Before Celestial Emperor Jean died, he actually asked Old Wang to pass on a message from Fang Ping. If Fang Ping wanted to get rid of the origin, then he would either take away his origin star or simply self-destruct the star. However, he would leave a hole in the origin universe, just like the origin emperor. If he wanted to get rid of it completely, Fang Ping actually had to kill a venerable emperor to make up for it. He could take it away, but the cat could not. This was because the cat's cat world and the origin universe were connected. However, Fang Ping was completely sealed now, so it was actually not connected. The cat's source world could be entered, so could Old Man Li. As for Fang Ping, Old Man Li could not enter last time. Instead, he appeared outside the shell. Fang Ping said calmly, "If it's connected to the source world, what does it mean?" "It means, if the origin is destroyed, then you will be destroyed. One will prosper, one will prosper, one will perish." How simple is that? The young god smiled faintly. That's why, among the powerhouses of the three realms, this old man is actually the most carefree. You guys can't do it. Why didn't the Celestial Emperor and the others kill you? Because they don't care. The young god yawned, a little sleepy. Saying that you're a variable is flattering you. You actually can't change anything. If you had taken the beginner path back, then you might really be a variable, but you're not. So, actually, this old man can't be bothered with you, because you can't change anything at all. Fang Ping did not care about this. He said again, "Senior, can you tell me about what happened 3 years ago?" "I knew you would ask this." The young god chuckled. "I've never been to that world, but I can roughly guess some things. As for you, it's actually not my doing. Are you thinking that when I fought with the seed, I released you? That's really not the case. How many years has it been since I fought with the seed?" The young god deliberated for a moment before saying, "It can be considered an accident, but also not exactly an accident. You don't have to think too much. You're not released by the seed, nor by me, nor by the heavenly emperors, and the others. You're actually released by the three emperors." Fang Ping was stunned. The three emperors? The three emperors had been dead for 8,000 years. How did the three emperors get involved again? The young god chuckled. Surprised? Very surprised? Actually, there's nothing to be surprised about. Although the three emperors died back then, it's not like they didn't leave any backup, especially Jean. Although he was naive, he was not stupid. He also knew that everything was focused on the seed. All the problems actually originated from the seed. Do you think he didn't look for the seed? He did. This naive guy even thought of letting the seed take the initiative to fill the pit, but the seed didn't care about him. What could he do? The young god laughed playfully. The seed didn't care about him. So he could only look for the heavenly emperors and the 9 emperors. In the end, they ignored him. What should he do? He felt that he might be too naive. Maybe he should try to fill the pit himself. If he did, he would die. Then what should we do? What happens after he dies? Is there no other way? The young god sighed and said, "Everyone knows to leave a backup plan. And so does he. Jean is not an idiot. Although he is ready to die, he still hopes that someone can solve this problem." Who will solve it? Jean is worried that after he dies, the 3 realms may be destroyed. If there is no one, how can we solve it? Where can we be sure that there are people? It's on the seed. The young god shook his head and said, "It's not a big secret that the seed wants to recreate the 3 realms. Of course, this is for people at the level of me and the heavenly emperor. The other guys are not so aware. You have to admit that John has read a lot, is strong, talented, and blessed by the heavens. He has actually come into contact with the seed a few times. He also knows about this, so he placed his hopes and backup plans on the seed. Fortresses are all broken from the inside. I don't understand what he was thinking at first. Maybe he thought that maybe he should let the people of the New World break something from the inside and solve all the problems. Maybe he thought that let the people of the New World come out and solve this problem as outsiders, as a third party. That's why you're here. Fang Ping frowned and suddenly thought of something. That day, the projection of the heaven extermination, the arch told him, meaningfully, what if everything is controlled by us? The heaven extermination, the arch realized that Fang Ping had some of his power and had guessed that there were 5 top-notch powerhouses. But in the end, he laughed instead and said that Fang Ping might find out in the end that everything was actually because of the few of them. Fang Ping's gaze was solemn. Then how did they do it? They had been dead for so many years. How did they do it? How did they do it? The young god laughed. You're asking me. I'm not the person involved. How would I know? Of course, I can roughly guess some things. When the 3 emperors' reincarnations awaken together, some changes will happen. Awakening is not awakened at the beginning. You should know this. The 3 of them awakened at that time. You also know that. When the 3 of them awakened, the Tao they left behind was revived and the origin resonated. Zhan is the strongest among them. His Tao is the strongest and the most special. The seed should have sensed something and rushed here. In the end, it was tricked by Zhan. Fang Ping said in surprise, tricked. Tricked. The young god suddenly became a little gloomy. He gritted his teeth and said, it's definitely not an accident that Zhan chose to be born in Sun City. He might have found out that I'm hiding here. This bastard knows that I have a grudge with the seed. More than 3 years ago, the seed suddenly smelled something and came here. When I saw it, I thought it was going to be rude to me. Then why would I be polite to it? That day, I fought with it. I'm not too sure what happened next. I only felt an arrow piercing through the seed. After that, the seed escaped. Then, something different happened in Sun City. The young god turned his head to look at Fang Ping and frowned. It's you. Of course, it wasn't obvious at first. Later, I found out it was you. You might have come out from inside the seed. Now that you said so yourself, it's confirmed. Zhan might have borrowed the power of the 3 emperors to release you. Of course, he also borrowed my power. But I really never thought of releasing someone from inside the seed. As the young god spoke, he shook his head and said, besides, the seed is very wary of me. How could it give me a chance to break its internal world? Zhan borrowed the power of the 3 emperors and my power to break the seed's internal world by surprise. The young god was a little puzzled. Is there any use in releasing you? Anyway, I think it's not very useful. The current you still can't change anything. I don't know what Zhan is thinking. I thought the 3 emperors' reincarnation was their backup, but it's not. The 3 emperors' reincarnation finally gathered around you. It's not without reason, because you're their core. Zhan wants to rely on you to solve those troubles. Therefore, Wang Jinyang and the others came to your side one after another, including Qin Fengqing. The young god laughed. You came out from inside the seed. It's not an accident that Qin Fengqing came to your side. Even if you weren't together at the beginning, you 2 would still be together in the end. Of course, the 3 emperors are close to you because you're the 3 emperors' plan. Qin Fengqing is the seed's backup. Even if you 2 were close at the beginning and originated from the seed, there would be some rejection later, and you 2 would part ways. Actually, I'm not surprised. At this moment, Fang Ping's heart was in turmoil. I am the 3 emperors' backup? He had thought of everyone. But he had never thought of the three emperors, because they were dead. How could a dead person set up a plan? How to play chess? The system, the three emperors' power. The system was created by the three emperors, or rather, Jean created it. He had this strength, this ability. How strong was Heavenly Emperor Jean? A projection said that he was confident of severely injuring the Emperor God with one arrow. How strong was his real body? Among the three of Heavenly Emperor, Yang God, who was stronger? Fong Ping could not help but ask this question. Senior, you Heavenly Emperor, Jean, who is stronger? The corner of the Yang God's mouth twitched. He said perfunctorily, None of your business. Jean is very strong. The Yang God said impatiently, Of course he is strong, but it depends on his condition. If his strength was in the past, he was naturally not as strong as us. At most, he was comparable to Qiong. But at that time, he could break through the land of origin at any time. Kid, he broke through the land of origin, not pierced it. That fellow's Tao almost pierced through the land of origin, almost strung Heavenly Emperor up into a bead, and wore it around his neck. If that happened, it would not be Heavenly Emperor controlling him, but he controlling Heavenly Emperor. Therefore, at that time, Heavenly Emperor was also very wary of him. He did not break through the land of origin because he did not want to fight with Heavenly Emperor. If they really fought, it would be hard to say who would win. Jean did not take this path. Fong Ping could not help but scold. He is so stupid. Stupid? Maybe. The Yang God laughed. According to your current words, he is a saint, but it is not derogatory. If he really did that, he might not win. The final result might be that the three realms were directly destroyed 10,000 years ago. But before he died, he should have left something for you. The power you borrowed is the power of the three emperors. It should have been left by him. He was too lazy to do it himself, so it was actually quite good to entrust it to someone. The arrow in the mystic realm that day was probably left behind for you. If you did not go to the mystic realm, you might not have had that arrow. The young god laughed. The powerhouses of the three realms think that you are a backup left behind by Hao or Hong, but I know that is not the case. This is because I was here that day, and I was even used. I knew that you did not have a backer, and the three emperors only left behind that little thing. Fong Ping shook his head, still in a trance. The Sky Destroyer Thearka's projection might have guessed something that day. Even if he did not know Jean's specific plan, Jean should have asked them for power, pure mentality. That was why the Sky Destroyer, Dharch, told him in the end that Fong Ping might have been created by themselves. It was not someone else, it was themselves. The system had been running like a machine. Fong Ping had thought that it was the Yang God seed and Celestial Emperor who did not give up. Now that he thought about it, it was not because they did not give up. It was because it really had nothing to do with them. The owner of the system was long dead, completely dead. The three dead people created this thing just to find an outsider to see if there was a chance to solve this problem. The three reincarnations of the three emperors were close to him, not because Fong Ping was charming, but because he had used their power. Maybe it was because they sensed it. Sun City. The reason why he was in Sun City was because the Yang God had always been here. Sky Destroyer Dharch knew that he was here, knew that he and Seed would fight when they met. So Sky Destroyer Dharch even calculated this. The scheme of the dead, Fong Ping felt a little empty in his heart. He had always had an imaginary enemy, a big enemy, the owner of the system. But today, the Yang God told him that there was no such enemy. That imaginary enemy was long dead. At this moment, Fong Ping was a little dazed. It turned out that the three realms had guessed wrong. The only people who knew the truth in the three realms were probably only the Yang God and Seed. Nine Heavens Divine Emperor. Chapter 1447. Fong Ping still could not accept it. Heaven battling, the Arch did this? In a trance, Fong Ping suddenly said, among the 9 emperors and 4 emperors who said they wanted a world without martial arts. Fight. Yang Shun was speechless. Who else could it be other than that stupid bird? Fong Ping was stunned. It was a battle. Jean said it. Does Jean know that the world inside the seed is a world without martial arts? Nonsense. It's not like he's stupid. He's just a little stupid. The first time a seed created the 3 realms, he created the martial Tao and almost suffered a backlash. If he created it again, there would definitely be no martial arts. The Yang spirit despised him. So I don't believe a word you said before. Which world had the 9 sovereigns and 4 emperors and the good fortune jade disc? Jade my ass. Fong Ping exhaled and asked, does Jean know how to simulate aura? The Yang god said tiredly, are you an idiot? How strong was he? How hard is it to simulate an aura? How strong was Jean? In fact, he was not at his peak when he died. Even so, he would not be weaker than the God Emperor. Being so powerful, how difficult would it be to imitate his aura? Fong Ping did not care about being scolded. He only wanted to confirm if it was true. Fong Ping asked again, why didn't Jean save his strength for his reincarnation? Your IQ is really low, Yang Shun complained. He was so strong in his previous life. Do you think no one is watching his reincarnation? Let's wait and see if he has any tricks up his sleeves. If he really did it on himself, he would have been stripped naked and eaten clean. Then on my side, since you know my problem, why don't you deal with me? The Yang god sneered. No matter how strong Jean is, he's not as strong as me. The backup plan he left behind could be used against others, but would it be useful against me? What's more, he walks the source path. I walk the beginner martial path. It doesn't matter. Why should I interfere? What's more, I also want to watch a good show. It's boring if it's always the same. Look, ever since you've appeared, the 3 realms has become so lively. You don't even need to mention that I've been watching so much excitement these past 3 years. It's so satisfying. Fong Ping was speechless. What you said really makes sense. Since you're not a threat to me, I don't care how you jump around. It just so happens that I've been idle for a few thousand years. Isn't it great to watch the show? Yang Shun was a little sleepy. He grabbed the cat and kneaded it for a while. Then his hands were on fire. With the cat's fur standing on end, he pinched the cat's big head and smoothed its fur. Then he continued to roast the dragon tail. The big cat wanted to explode, but the Yang god said angrily, what's wrong with giving me some? I'm a little hungry. You stupid cat, when you were still suckling, I fed you. Now you're going to turn your back on me. Where did the heavenly bell come from? Is it really yours? Did you forget that I casually tossed it to you when I no longer needed the heart protection mirror? Where did the divine peeking mirror come from? Although it belonged to the celestial arch, I was the one who got it for you. I borrowed it to watch the show and threw it away after I was done. That's how it ended up in your hands. How could you fall out with me just because of a snake tail? Why are you still angry? Yang Shun looked unhappy. Without me, would you have a cat like you? Without me, would you have such a carefree life? Do you know why you can be free until now? Yang Shun said proudly, you were originally just a collection of garbage in the source. The celestial Thearcha's idea was to destroy and clean you up. It was I who saved you. I absorbed a lot of power in the source. After absorbing it, the source suddenly produced some garbage. Your trash can suddenly became a little bigger. The celestial arch took a look. Oh, no, this trash can is not full yet. It can still be filled with garbage. Well, I'll fill it again, lest I don't know where to dump the rest of the garbage. Think about it. Without me, would you have been cleaned up? Yang Shun laughed and said, The reason why you have been free for so many years and no one has forced you to cultivate is actually because of me. When you were young, I often saw you. You don't know, I didn't know how to control my strength. I was used to beating you up. Once again, I beat you up casually, and as a result, you were beaten up, and the source trembled for a long time. When the celestial arch saw this, he thought, this won't do. If you beat up the source, it will tremble for a long time. You are still weak. If you become strong, won't it tremble for a long time? He was conflicted. If you become strong, you can absorb more garbage. But if you become strong, won't you be in big trouble if you get beaten up? What if the garbage that was taken away pops up again? So, I was so conflicted. In the end, I didn't care much about you and threw you to Tianjin. You can play on your own. Whether you become strong or weak depends on your luck. Don't worry about this. The cat was stunned. Fang Ping was stunned. Li Zhen was stunned. While roasting the tail, Yang Shen said, the reason why you can live so happily is also related to me. It's probably because I hit you that time and gave you a concussion, so your memory is not very good. You can forget sad things in an instant, so you can live a good life. Don't you want to thank me? The cat's eyes widened. Fang Ping's eyes widened. Li Zhen's eyes widened. F***CK. Yang Shen looked at their expressions and asked curiously, what's wrong? Although I beat up this cat, I also gave it benefits afterward. I often give it some food, and the divine peeking mirror and the sky gong were all given by me. Isn't that compensation? Meow? The cat was beginning to doubt its life. This cat was beaten silly by this guy. The corner of Fang Ping's mouth twitched. He did not want to listen to this gossip anymore. He asked again, I have another question to ask, Senior. Did Heavenly Emperor Zhan have the ability to solve the problem of the origin back then? From what you said, I think he might really be confident. Yes. Yang Shen answered matter-of-factly, smiling. Of course, he has the ability to solve this problem. Simple. Kill the 9 emperors, kill the other supreme emperors, kill the Heavenly Emperor, kill me, and shove the seed into the origin. Okay, the problem is solved. Perfect. As Yang Shen said that, he laughed. The current solution is the same. It's actually the same. If Zhan really broke the origin back then, he might be able to do it. The chances are very high. To be honest, if he really broke the origin, the Heavenly Emperor might not be able to defeat him, but Yang Shen sighed and said, he has 3 teachers and many brothers among them. Hong, and the others are all his close friends. He is different from you. You can't wait to kill all the old antiques. But the old antiques in your eyes are either his brothers or his relatives. If they are not relatives, they are his masters and grandmasters. Let me ask you, if it were you, would you be able to do it at this time? Now I ask you to kill Lu Fengru, Li Changsheng, Wang Jinyang, Zhang Tao, Chen Yunxi, Fang Yuan, Li Hansong, and the others. The problem of the 3 realms can be solved. Will you kill them? Yang Shen said with a slightly complicated look in his eyes, and he faced such a situation back then. Let me ask you, will he do it? He even persuaded them to give up their power, but these people were not willing. Tell me, what choice can he make? So he chose death, Yang Shen said with some disdain and some indescribable complexity. His death is not meaningless. If it weren't for him, the origin wouldn't have been so peaceful for so many years, and misery wouldn't have been so peaceful. The 3 realms have been peaceful for 8,000 years, and it has a lot to do with him. That grandson of the Heavenly Emperor is actually powerless to suppress the turmoil in the origin. It was Zhan's death and the return of power that allowed the 3 realms to continue for so many years. Fang Ping also had mixed feelings at this moment. He had never thought about it from Zhan's perspective. He had always thought that Zhan was very stupid and naive. But today, just as Yang Shen had said, if he wanted him to kill those people and solve the chaos in the three realms. What choice would he make? Did he have the ability to kill them? Of course he did. But could he do it? Fong Ping suddenly felt a little bitter in his mouth, and his voice was slightly strange. Why did he want to make a backup plan? Yang Shen said with a disapproving look, "How normal! He died once, and what he owed was paid back, and what should be given was given. In 8,000 years, those who should live have lived." Jean felt that it was about time. If the problem was not solved at this time, he would find someone to solve it. Moreover, when he died, he probably had a plan. If the Fool and the Heavenly Annihilation didn't die, you wouldn't have been born. They died. Then you would have appeared. How did they die? They died, and it was those people who did it. Then the favor will naturally be gone. At this time, you will be here. You will replace him to get rid of these guys because he has done his best. Understand? Fong Ping suddenly came to a realization. Yes, according to Yang Shen, he would only appear when the three emperors were revived. However, if Celestial Emperor Extermination and Celestial Emperor Batian did not die, how could they be revived? Jean had actually prepared for two things. If these two did not die, there would be no system. If these two died, and the three emperors died, then there would be him and the system. At that time, Jean felt that he had given and given everything. He might have long understood that if he died, the two emperors might be in trouble. However, he still hoped that nothing would happen. Fong Ping swallowed. After a while, he could not help but say, "Scholars are really scary." Jean, this guy was really scary. He had calculated every possibility. At this moment, Fong Ping no longer had any doubts. The system was created by Jean. Jean looked forward to a world without martial arts, looking forward to solving the problem, but he did not want to attack his family and friends at that time. He could only hope that he could fill the hole in the three realms. Unfortunately, he did not do it. Before this, he might have thought of the consequences. In the end, he committed suicide. Perhaps he was prepared, but he still hoped that others would not attack the other two emperors. If they did not attack, then there would be no system, no Fong Ping. If they did attack, then there would be Fong Ping. Everything was linked. Heavenly Emperor Jean actually thought a lot and left this world with hesitation and relief. "So, I am their backup." Fong Ping was in a trance again. That day, the projection of Heavenly Emperor Annihilate told him that they might have left something behind, looking forward to meeting for the last time. What did they leave behind? The system? Or the reincarnations of the three emperors? Fong Ping licked his lips. He thought of another question. The three emperors had left behind their true paths. His strength actually originated from them. Could he use these three fellows' paths directly? He did not even need to convert anything. The three true paths were all paths that led directly to the source. Could he use them all? There was a high probability of that. It seemed like he could not use these now, but Fong Ping actually still had the three gates of origin and the gate of void. It was just that they had been isolated. What if he used them again? If he incorporated the three paths into the Sanjiao Gate, could he directly fight for the control of the source with Heavenly Emperor? What the three emperors left behind was actually this. He was the backup, and the reincarnations of the three emperors were the support, preserving the existence of the Tao for him. After he obtained the Tao, he would then fight for the control of the source. Therefore, the real final blow was the control of the source. Fong Ping thought of many things, but he did not want to think about it. He did not want to think about it. If he thought about it this way, if Old Wang and the other two knew about it, they might break their paths to fulfill his wish. The key was if they broke their paths, could they still survive? Fong Ping did not know. If they survived, they would become ordinary people. Maybe they would have some strength, but they would never become powerhouses again. No martial arts. Fang Ping was stunned. It could not be. He suddenly thought of Heavenly Emperor Zhan's thoughts. Could it be that he was actually looking forward to Fang Ping breaking his path, and then let the three emperors reincarnate as ordinary people? It was very possible. Could it be that he had even considered the consequences after breaking his path? The sun god saw the rapid change in his expression and found it a little funny. Kid, why are you so surprised? Zhan Yi is not omniscient and omnipotent. Look, he made you, but it is actually not very useful. What can you change? You can't change anything. Fang Ping glanced at him and suddenly said in a muffled voice, Senior, it seems that it is better to fight. The sun god was not angry. He chuckled and said, I have lived longer than him and enjoyed more. That is enough. Senior is open-minded. Since you are open-minded, why did you hide your identity for 8,000 years and not show up no matter what? The sun god smiled, faintly. I just didn't have time to deal with you guys. Actually, Sun City is my hometown, the place where I achieved Tao. Of course, it was 40,000 years ago. It was too long ago. Probably not many people still remembered it. Fallen leaves return to their roots. It is quite comfortable to stay here. For the past few thousand years, I have been too lazy to move, but it is not that I have not moved. I have looked for the seed a few times. Actually, I still hope to solve the problem of the three realms. The sun god shook his head and said, The problem has always existed. The three realms is in danger of destruction, so I hope to solve this problem. For the past few thousand years, I have also been running around for this matter. What do you people know? I am solving the problem from the root. Looking for the seed is the best way. Do you have a way now? Of course not. The sun god said, unhappily, If there is, why are you still basking in the sun here? You would have gone out to bask in the sun long ago. The seed is impervious to oil and salt, so I say killing the humans is actually the most convenient. There is no need to delay it anymore. Fang Ping was too lazy to respond. He thought for a while and said, Senior, if we destroy Heavenly Emperor and the others, can the problem be solved? Didn't Hao say it before? It can delay for tens of thousands of years, but in the end, it is still reincarnation. So it must be the seed. That's right. The sun god was much more serious this time. It must be the seed. It is the creator of the origin, the root of the problem. If it does not come forward to solve it, it will not be solved. Tisk, the sun god said disdainfully, Impossible. Of course, it is not completely impossible. Kill Heavenly Emperor and the others, including me. Why, Fang Ping suddenly stopped talking. He understood. The seed was afraid that powerhouses like them would backfire. No, it was already backfire. Therefore, if they were not destroyed, it would not talk to anyone. You understand now? Fang Ping understood. He laughed somewhat self-deprecatingly. He had just said that Heavenly Emperor Zhan was naive, but in fact, he was naive. He actually wanted to talk to the seed. How was that possible? Then there is destined to be a battle. Destined. It was unavoidable. Fang Ping exhaled. It was good that he did not give himself too many extravagant hopes. It was quite good. Senior, can I borrow some star stones? The sun god was stunned for a moment. Kid, are we familiar? You actually want to borrow this from me. Why are you so thick-skinned? Fang Ping said with a serious face. When a fellow villager sees a fellow villager, both eyes are filled with tears. Senior, you said it yourself. You are from Sun City, then so am I. We are fellow villager, authentic fellow villager. Now Sun City is also in danger of destruction. Our hometown is in danger. As a senior, as a fellow villager, now that you have become rich, we juniors are not doing it for ourselves, but for our hometown. Now we are looking for you to borrow some surplus food to solve the crisis. Of course, it is best if you can lend it to us, Senior. If you don't, we will not scold you for being rich and heartless, for not caring about the life and death of your hometown, nor will we use moral coercion on you. Moral coercion is the most tasteless. We will not do it. It is just that we are in trouble, so we are here to ask if we can borrow it and find a way out. The sun god clicked its tongue. Oh, you have a sharp tongue. Do you think I still care about this? Do I still care about my pride? I have lived for 40,000 years, and I have long since stopped caring. You still want to use moral coercion on me? You are thinking too much. The sun god looked indifferent. He had long stopped caring. What was Fong Ping thinking? Fong Ping gritted his teeth. He was stubborn, indeed difficult to deal with. Senior, does the Celestial Emperor want to kill you? Probably so. Does Seed want to kill you? Probably so. What about the Emperor and the others? The sun god said faintly, probably so too. What about it? They may want to, but they can't kill me. But, Senior, don't you think that it is very troublesome to be watched? I am willing to be this scavenger and clean up this trash for you. Senior, you are disdainful to do it yourself. Then, I will help you solve these small problems. How about that? I have a disciple. Heavenly King Subduer can't do it. Fong Ping sold out the Heavenly King Subduer directly. Even if he can become stronger, he will die if he breaks 100 million now. No matter how strong he becomes, I am afraid he can't do it. What do you think, Senior? The sun god raised his eyebrows. You make it sound like breaking 100 million is very easy. Those who can break 100 million, you can count them yourself. Among the 7 of them, who is not an invincible prodigy in the 3 realms. If Subduer can break 100 million, that will be my greatest success. Do you think you will be stronger than him? Why not? Fong Ping smiled. I have the 3 emperors to invest in me. I still have the capital. I am also related to Seed. This may be deliberately caused by Heavenly King Zhan. I think if I see Seed, there may be some different effects. If that is the case, why am I not qualified for Senior to invest in me? It is just a risk investment. Senior, you will not lose anything. I think even if you have star stones now, absorbing them will probably not have any effect. If that is the case, why is it not worth using these useless trash to invest in a person who has hoped to change something? Previously, you vowed to kill all the old antiques. Fong Ping smiled. If Senior invests, then that is easy. If I don't invest, will you kill me? Fong Ping smiled. How is that possible? I am also not Senior's opponent. If we are opponents, you will kill me. If we are opponents, then Senior will miss such an investment opportunity. Why bother? The sun god was deep in thought, thinking while eating the dragon's tail. The panicked cat tried to break free from his hand again and again. This old man was so powerful. He grabbed its head, and it could not break free. Just as the sun god was still eating, Fong Ping and the others were stunned in the next moment. Pooey! At this moment, the cat suddenly spat out a large mouthful of saliva, spraying all over the dragon's tail. It was anxious. If you do not give it to me, I will disgust you. The sun god was also stunned. It looked at the cat, then at the dragon's tail, and suddenly cursed. You are a trash can. You even spit saliva in a trash can. Is this thing still edible? Somewhat disgusted, the sun god stuffed the dragon's tail into the cat's mouth. This huge tail was compressed by him like a barbecue skewer. In fact, it was not big, so it was stuffed in at once. Then, the sun god slapped the proud cat away and wiped his hands on the cat's fur. Fong Ping looked at it with a toothache. This cat was really miserable. In the past, no one could beat it. Now anyone could beat it. Heavenly Emperor reverse beat it. The sun god beat it. The divine emperor beat it. How miserable. Investing in you is not impossible. The sun god slapped the cat away and laughed. I do have some star stones. I picked them up in the past, and there are still some left. However, even if they are not valuable to me, there is no reason to give them away for free. As for me, I don't have high requirements. I only have one disciple. When I go to the source, the celestial emperor and the others will fight me to the death. You just need to get the town out. As for the rest, I don't expect you. Remember, it's not as simple as killing an emperor to get it out. You have to walk the 3 emperors' Tao, and take out the Tao fruit too. As he said that, he added, also, it's not that simple. The town is also a powerhouse close to G and the others. If you want to get him out, you can't just kill a guy like Desolation. If that guy continues to get stronger, you may have to kill one of the 7 to get him out. Fang Ping's eyebrows twitched, and he smiled. That's it. Fang Ping said lightly, Heavenly King subduing is one of us. Freeing him is a given. But since the senior said so, then it can't be better. It's something that I can do in passing. You talk big. The sun god smiled, faintly. Kill one of the 7. Who can you kill? Try and you'll know. Fang Ping said quickly, How many starstones can you borrow, senior? 1 piece. Fang Ping's face darkened. In the next moment, his expression was extremely strange. Yes, 1 piece. The sun god really took out 1 piece. The key was the ones given by Emperor West were all the size of eggs, but the one given by the sun god was the size of a wash basin. This was 1 piece. There seemed to be nothing wrong with it. The sun god said casually, When it was just broken, there were many of these things. I thought it was a hindrance, so I didn't pick up many. I just wanted to keep it as a souvenir. After all, it was the only star of origin between heaven and earth. Who knew that you guys would treat it as a treasure? If I had known earlier, I would have picked up more. Unfortunately, they were all gone. Fang Ping swallowed his saliva. He did not say anything and took it directly. Seeing this, the sun god said, You've asked what you should and given what you should. Get lost. You can't come here next time. If I don't let you find it, you'll never find it in your lifetime. As for the seed, don't ask me. Find it yourself. If you really want to find it, you'll definitely find it. I can't find it now. If I want to find it, it'll take a lot of effort. Fang Ping laughed. Of course, but Senior, Commander Li is a descendant of King Zhen. King Zhen is the younger brother of King Zhen. It's you. Before he finished speaking, the sun god complained, Pull strings? Get close? Zhen is my disciple, but Zhen isn't. That guy is too useless. He wanted to be my disciple, but I kicked him away. I didn't accept him as a disciple at all. But Zhen was taught martial arts by Zhen. He can barely be considered my grand disciple. The sun god glanced at Li Zhen, whose face had darkened. After thinking for a while, he threw a small white ball to him and curled his lips. This is for you. Next time, don't use my name to deceive people. You're not my disciple. You can't afford to lose face. Li Zhen cursed in his heart. He wanted to throw this thing away. It was too humiliating. However, Fang Ping's eyes were bright. F***CK. This old man was really rich. What was this? It was a small seed projection. F***CK. Did the old man tear it off when he was fighting with the seed? Li Zhen, this fool, actually wanted to throw it away. Throw it away. Fang Ping did not bat an eyelid. He pressed Li Zhen down. Then, with a wave of his hand, he grabbed the big cat back. Without another word, he flew away. On the sun god's side, cooperation was out of the question. Fang Ping could already feel that it would not work out. The sun god was not prepared to cooperate with him at all, because Fang Ping was not qualified enough. However, Fang Ping did not care. Today's trip was worth it. He had also profited. After Fang Ping and the others left, the sun god continued to drink the coconut juice. As he drank, the sun god raised his eyebrows slightly and glanced at the basket beside him. There was a basket full of coconuts earlier. It seemed like a few were missing. The sun god curled his lips and said to himself, "So poor that they have no food to eat? Stealing this? I remember that the seaside is full of them. These people are really ignorant." Too lazy to say anything else, the sun god closed his eyes and continued to drink the coconut juice. At his level, who cared about heavenly materials and earthly treasures? They were just ordinary coconuts. These fellows just now were not ordinary people. Nine Heavens Divine Emperor, that you're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.